From the City of Light, it's the clash of two unbeatens as Munich takes on Paris in a showdown atop the EFA standings. Good evening, everyone. Bonsoir. Welcome inside Stade Bauer. Alongside Andrew Whitinger, I'm John Ramey. Big questions early in this European Football Alliance season. Andrew, can anyone slow down the Munich Ravens, and if so, how?
Yeah, the Munich Ravens led by Russell Tabor at quarterback. They've got such a great group of skill position players, multiple good running backs, 4 or 5 good receivers, very explosive. Going to be very interesting if anybody can get this group slowed down, let alone stop them. We'll see if Paris can pull it off today.
For Munich, they are averaging a league best 51.5 points per game in scoring offense. Tabor, you mentioned him, has been the most efficient quarterback in the league so far. He's completing better than 73% of his passes. That is the best percentage of completions of any regular quarterback. He's thrown for over 430 yards, 4 passing touchdowns, and 176 yards rushing with 3 touchdowns. Why is he such a tough matchup?
Like you mentioned, the rushing yards there, 173 yards on the ground, the high completion percentage, a true dual threat at the position. They're going to come out and they're going to give you some zone read and read plays in the run game where Tabor can put his legs on full display. And if he's going to come out and throw efficiently like he has been, I don't know how you stop the guy. The guy has so many talents, good at a lot of different things, really puts a lot of stress on the defense.
There's one of those blue beards we've been seeing all around the European Football Alliance. It's a Munich fan with a Ravens cap on, has made the trip here to Paris. Meanwhile, the home team, the Musketeers, they're 2-0, but a different path for Paris to this perfect start. They had a 1-point win over Frankfurt in the opener, and then they beat Prague 30-9 in week 2. They were in control the whole way in that one. It's been about defense for the Musketeers, and they've had a bye, so that defense has had time to get ready for Russell Tabor, the Munich quarterback.
Yeah, and it's a good thing they had the week off. You need an extra week to prepare for what Munich is going to throw at you. This Paris defense really strong up front and exceptionally strong in the back end. Can they get to the quarterback? Can they contain that Munich run game up front? Going to be a clash of titans there in the trenches. Definitely a good opportunity for Paris to establish an identity. This will be, as much as they've been tested in the first 2 weeks, this is a different animal, this Munich team coming in. Be a very, very good test to see exactly where they are.
The visitors, the Munich Ravens, take the field here at Stade Bauer. Munich 2-0 with dominant wins in the opener over the Raiders Tirol, and then last week in the German Derby they rolled past Frankfurt 45-26. Ravens with head coach Kendall Ellison now in his 3rd year. He was the coach of the year in the ELF last year. They are a physical opposition for Paris. They run the ball. In fact, their passing game took a back seat in their 2nd win because against Frankfurt, they didn't have to throw that much. They were just able to run the ball right down their throats. Justin Rodney's the 2nd leading rusher in the league, and the quarterback, Russell Tabor, is the 3rd leading rusher in the league.
Yeah, if you can run that football, no need to throw it. Establish that run, and if it's working, keep riding it. That's a great way to take your opponent's will to play, will to live away from them.
There's Muskie. Paris Musketeers, the home team, and here they come. As we mentioned, a bye last week. They're 2-0. They beat Tirol in week 2, 39-16. They had a 1-point win on the road in the opener at Frankfurt. This team was 7-5 last year. 2nd-year head coach, former NFL head coach, former NFL player Jack Del Rio is the head man for the Musketeers. Del Rio, a Super Bowl champion as a coach, a Rose Bowl champion as a player with the USC Trojans. He's got Paris up to a 2-0 start, but it's been about that pass rush in particular, talking defense with the Musketeers. They lead the EFA with 10 sacks, and I guess that's the big plot point coming into this one. Can their pass rush slow down Russell Tabor, or can Munich just run the ball and neutralize that pass rush?
Yeah, it'll be an interesting matchup. Paris hasn't faced an offensive line like Munich has, and Munich's offensive line hasn't faced a defensive front like Paris's. We get a little X factor today. Roderick Daniels recently signed, Kennesaw State player, going to play on that defensive line for Paris. What will his impact be? Daniels coming, formerly coached by Mark Mattioli, the old coach for the Paris Musketeers, their coach at the inception of the franchise. It'll be interesting to see, can they stop them up front, because these games are won up front. Offensive line against defensive line.
Mamadou C and Jack Lowe each have 3 sacks apiece for the Musketeers. They're tied for the most sacks in all of the EFA. Zach Edwards is the quarterback for the Musketeers. He's thrown for 438 yards so far this season. We will pause now for the performance of the national anthems, Deutschlandlied and the Marseillaise. Back live inside Stadtbauer here in Paris. Musketeers 2-0. That's Zach Edwards, Magic Zach. He's thrown for over 430 yards through 2 games so far for the Musketeers. He has thrown for 4 touchdowns. He's been intercepted twice. He's also rushed for 2 scores. He's averaging a very healthy 4.7 yards per carry. Wait now for the two groups of captains at midfield for the toss of the coin. Conditions right now in Saint-Ouen-sur-Seine, the northern part of Paris, just north of the 18th arrondissement. It's 21 degrees centigrade, winds out of the southwest, 4 miles an hour, not so gusty. It's 70 degrees in Fahrenheit, so pleasant conditions, and winds not too much of a factor, at least right now as we approach kickoff. And if you want to paint in broad brush strokes, it's going to be whether Munich can be slowed down by the Paris defense. Find out how good this Paris defense has been through 2 victories. They have not faced an offense like the Ravens, as Andrew Weidinger mentioned a moment ago. Referee is Stanley Hameder.
Welcome, captains. Check. Welcome, captains, to the week 4 of European Football Alliance. With me here is a John McKeown, the owner of Paris Musketeers organization. Please, visiting captains, shake hands with the opponent. We have a coin for the coin toss. The Lady of Liberty is heads, Eagle is tails. Heads, tails. What is your call? Tails. Tails is the call. And it is heads. Paris won the coin toss and deferred. Munich will be receiving the ball in the first half. Which side do we want to kick to? Okay, thank you very much and good luck, gentlemen.
All right, buckle your seatbelts. Munich will receive the opening kickoff, and that means Bijan Harris will be into the action early. He has 2 kickoff returns for touchdowns already this season, both coming on the opening kickoff on opening day and in week 3. Munich had a bye in week 2. Andrew, it's good we don't have to wait long to see Mr. Big Play.
Yeah, Paris has got to have an answer for that trap kind of kick out return that they've got down that right sideline, hit it on the opening kick return. 2 weeks in a row for Munich. Not the way you'd want to start the game, but always good to see Bijan Harris with the ball in his hands.
Harris has 3 touchdowns on the year, and he doesn't play offense. He's got the 2 kickoff returns for touchdowns, the only special teams touchdowns in the EFA so far this year, and he has a fumble recovery return for a touchdown. That came against Frankfurt last week, and he punctuated that defensive touchdown with a backflip over the goal line. So you cannot take your eyes off number 21 for Munich, Bijan Harris. Dean Faithful is the kicker for Paris. Musketeers won the toss and deferred to the second half. Munich's offense averaging more than 51 points per game. Best scoring offense in the EFA. We'll get it first. 2 unbeatens clashing in Paris, and we're underway. Weird bounce at the 10. And getting to the 20-yard line, but no further, is Harris. So the Musketeers are able to corral Bijan Harris.
Outstanding kick. He got that thing to hit and bounce back in the wrong direction. lets his guys rally, get to the football. That's the start that Paris needed right there.
Munich's offense tops in scoring average. They've scored 8 times on the ground, 4 times through the air. They're the best rushing offense in the EFA, averaging better than 208 yards per game on the ground. Keep your eyes on number 33, Justin Rodney. He's the second leading rusher in the EFA, and the third leading rusher is that quarterback, Russell Tabor. He's completing nearly 74% of his passes so far this year. He's thrown for 423 yards in 2 games. And the first play is on the ground. Not a whole lot there, but a second effort gets it out across the 24-yard line. And there is Mr. Rodney, 4 rushing touchdowns on the season. He's averaging better than 6 yards a carry.
Yeah, it looks like we got a little inside zone with a slice block right there. Good job by the running back turning that from a 0-yard gain into an efficient run. Like you said, about a gain of 4 there, looks like. That's a good start.
Second down, 5.5. Motion to the left side, that's Stanley. Tabor takes the snap, looks left, throws left. That is complete. No, incomplete on the near sideline. He wanted Lewis Geyer, but he couldn't come up with it. Incompletion stops the clock. It's 3rd down and 5.5.
Stick concept there on the left side. Elected to throw that go route on the outside. Left it probably just a little bit short. Munich has not seen a DB group like this. Corner probably got to get his eyes around right there. That's a little close on potential pass interference.
That was Kevin Carrito Diaz, French cornerback. He's matched up on Geyer again on the near side. 3rd and a short 6. Line to gain is the 30. Opening drive of the ball game. 4 on the line for Paris, and they show blitz. Time for Tabor. Complete to Stanley, and he's got a first down across the 30.
Drive concept, shallow cross with a little deeper cross in behind it. Good job by Tabor getting through his progression. Stanley coming into his vision late in the down. Lets him catch and run to get that first down.
6th catch of the year for Malik Stanley, his first of the ball game, and Munich moves the chains. 1st and 10 out to their own 31-yard line. Crowd fired up early here in Paris. Matchup of the day. Biggest game in the league here in week 4. Musketeers again show blitz. Tabor pressured, and down he goes back at the 23. 11th sack of the year for the Musketeer defense.
Yeah, Kachanga off that left side edge right there. Let's see how he gets to the quarterback. Looks like maybe a this or that, a run or a pass option right there. Tabor goes to the throw. Ball has to come out of his hands. If he's going to elect the throwing option, that ball's got to come out right now, or else you will have an unblocked defender in your face.
Digan Gomes Kachanga, the sack. A loss on the play. Back to the 15-yard, rather to the 25-yard line at 2nd and 15. Setting up the screen, incomplete. Good pressure again. And again, it's Kachanga. Disrupting that screen. Intended for Saleh.
Trying to set up that cross screen to Eustace Zelig there on the left side. Great job by that backer, sniffing it out, getting out ahead of the lineman. In man coverage, when he has that running back in man, very hard for those linemen to sense where that guy is. Zone, the line can get out there, they can get ahead of the screen. Man coverage, those guys are hugging up, coming downhill. Great play by the linebacker to get that thing stopped dead in its tracks.
3rd and 15. Four-man rush for the Musketeers. Tabor throws, and throws it out of bounds on the far sideline. He's looking for Stanley. Coverage from Amir Kilani. Now, a punting situation for Munich.
Trying to get the stop route at the sticks, get that first down right there. Tabor sails that just a little bit out of bounds. First drive of the game, got to settle into the flow.
High snap, but corralled by Levin Adram, who booms this away to the near sideline. No return opportunity for Austin Mitchell of Paris. And the Musketeers force a punt to start the ball game. No score first quarter, and we'll get our first look at Paris on offense. And Zach Edwards from St. Scholastica, Division III, Duluth, Minnesota. He's out of Minneapolis, grew up a Vikings fan. Magic Zach, Andrew.
A staple of the European leagues. I was fortunate enough to coach Zach in 2022. Zach obviously took last year off, but it's good to have Zach back and playing here in Europe.
Edwards hands it off. Running left with room and positive yardage out across the 40-yard line for Paris. That's Jason Bafunda. He's averaging almost 5 yards a carry. He's rushed for over 100 yards in 2 games for Paris, and a good game to start on the ground. Second down.
Yeah, it looked like they were running a strong side downhill run called Duo right there. We've got Liam Ward back for Paris. Had originally signed with the Alpine Rams, returned to the team this week, starting at the tight end spot. They're running behind him there on the left side.
Wael Nasri in on the tackle there along with Reich for Munich. Second down and 4. Complete on the near side for Paris at midfield. Great effort down the sideline for Hassan Dosso. It's his 7th catch of the year. Paris has a first down.
Dosso's emerged. He's their number 1 receiver on the scene. He doesn't have the most catches. Hugo Tekkenem leading the league in catches, but Dosso, this guy, he is their number 1 receiver. Speaking of number 1 receivers, we need to see Paris get Austin Mitchell involved. Mitchell with 3 catches so far. If you've got a weapon like that, you got to find ways to get the ball in his hands, but great job there, Zach and Dosso on the quick game, turn it into a big game.
First and 10 in Munich territory for Paris. Handoff going nowhere, buried back at midfield. Bafunda just got gobbled up. Total eclipse of the running back and a loss on the play.
Yeah, they pulled that left guard and left tackle. Tight end's got to cut the defensive end there. Zergenbull out, not let him get across his face. Doesn't get the job done. Turns into the negative gain. Negative gain, that might not be the right way to say it, right? Negative and gain, that doesn't work. Negative play for the Musketeers.
Johannes Zergenbull tied for the team lead with 2 sacks, a big TFL there. Negative gain works. It's a loss of 4. It's 2nd and 14. Edwards steps up, scrambling, dumps it off near sideline. Incomplete.
Usually where Zach's at his best, on the move, out of the pocket, does a good job keeping his eyes down the field, unable to connect with Tekkenem there. See Tony Anderson on the coverage. Anderson missed last week for the Munich Ravens. Tony Anderson, one of the absolute best DBs in all of Europe. A fixture, played for the Frankfurt Galaxy, spent time with the Rhine Fire, now with the Munich Ravens.
And a homecoming for Anderson, the Frenchman, in the defensive backfield for Munich. 3rd and 14, pressure, screen pass, dumps it off. Bafunda breaks a tackle, and down the sideline he goes with a first down.
That is an outstanding individual effort by Bafunda right there. They get the 0 blitz. That's when you want the screen to be called into this pressure. Zach leaves it short. Bafunda with an exceptional catch, breaking tackles, gets all that yardage. Now that is a good football play.
I mean, that screen pass almost got blown up by the pressure. Bafunda scampering out of bounds. Looked to have first down yardage. Really good second effort there.
Got to hold on to that ball. He's holding that thing like a little rugby player there.
Defense, number 4. 15-yard penalty, automatic, first down.
So that penalty goes against Alexander Reich for Munich. And that will be an automatic first down, as you heard. Reich leading the team with 11 tackles, but he has called for the foul early here. That aids a Paris drive as they march ever closer to the Munich goal line. Munich, with their 15th penalty, they came into the game the second most penalized team in the EFA. First and 10 for the Musketeers of the Ravens 20. Edwards fakes and fires. Down the middle, incomplete at the goal line. He wanted his favorite target, Tekadam. Couldn't haul it in.
Really well done by Tony Anderson there in the middle of the field. Paris got to work on their spacing there on those seam routes. They've got to put a little bit more stress on the safety. You can see he's catching this in the alley. Needs to be closer to that paint of the numbers. They need to get more stress on Anderson, make him field receivers to his left and to his right. Really great with the targeting there by Anderson, keeping the attack low so he doesn't hit him in the head or neck area. Again, cannot tell you, Tony Anderson, one of the absolute best. We had faced him when he was in Frankfurt. He made every tackle. Tony Anderson going to be an absolute factor in this game.
Well, he's already a factor because head level was low. It was not an illegal hit. It was a clean hit, but it was a big blow. Fortunately, Hugo looks okay as he jogs off towards the Paris sideline. But that's big-time physical defense from Munich.
Tekadam also the backup quarterback for this Paris squad. If things go wrong, they can't afford to have him out of this game.
In the Paris huddle there, you see tight end Jan Yaman. He's wearing 16. He was listed at 84. For those of you scoring at home. Yaman, the tight end in on the left side. Edwards on 2nd and 10 from the Munich 20. There's Mitchell in motion. Toss to him, jet sweep left. Strung out well and dropped behind the line.
Yeah, they've got to find a way to get Mitchell involved. He needs to be a primary target and weapon on this team. Looks like Liam Ward maybe misses his block there at the point of attack, forces that ball to bounce. Great job by the corner on the perimeter, getting Austin on the ground.
Jordan Molko called for the hold. He just joined Paris. That backs things up to the 30-yard line. 2nd down and 20 for the Musketeers. Line to gain is the 10 of Munich. 3 wide receivers right. 4-man front for the Ravens. Low snap. Edwards. Shovel pass in front, and the play is blown dead.
Yeah, we got a false start on the right side. Doso out, split out wide. Got to have those eyes in on the football. Don't worry about what anybody's saying. When you see that ball move, that's when you move.
So this is a couple of penalties here in the last few moments against the Paris offense. They came into the contest with the second fewest penalties through 2 games of anyone in the EFA. Line of scrimmage backed up now to the 35. 2nd down and 25. So Paris got down to the Munich 20, but going in reverse now.
Not a lot of good play calls for 2nd and 25. Got to try to buy back about half the distance if you can.
That's Remy Berthelon in the slot inside of Mitchell on the left side. Funda motion right. Here's Edwards stepping up, throws behind Mitchell, incomplete. Mitchell trying to reach back, that ball a little off the mark, and it's incomplete. And now 3rd and 25 coming up at 9 minutes precisely in a scoreless first quarter.
Yeah, Edwards probably unnecessarily moving forward in that pocket, feeling like he needed to escape prematurely there, ends up taking the hit as he's throwing, forces the ball off target.
Line to gain is the 10 of Munich. It's 3rd and 25. Ravens rush 3. Edwards with time, waiting. Guns it too tall for Mitchell at about the 21-yard line. So twice Mitchell targeted, which you said, Andrew, has got to be a key component for Paris, but twice Edwards is a little off the mark, and now it's 4th and 25 from the 35-yard line.
Yeah, you know, for our American viewers, this spot right here, it's field goal time, right? But different animal here in the European League. You don't know if you can really consistently hit from this range. Looks like Paris electing to punt.
Also, we saw a deflection, so let's defend Zach Edwards. That ball may have been on the money until it was deflected. But Paris unable to capitalize after reaching the 20-yard line of Munich. They punt and a touchback. The Ravens have it for the second time. So the Ravens defense bends but does not break. As you see, Yanni Goadfel, the safety, handling the punting duties as well for Paris. But Edwards on that pass over the middle to Mitchell was deflected. So the Munich defense does its job. It is interesting, we have not seen this level of physicality and speed in a defense against Munich so far this season. So this is it's a bit of a palate cleanser to see the Ravens go against a defense of this caliber. Russell Tabor, the quarterback. And the first down handoff, and room on the right side out across the 30-yard line. Looked for a minute there like the ball came loose at the end of the play.
Yeah, we saw them running this last week. The GT counter, pulling that guard and tackle to the tight end side. Yeah, ball comes out. Eustace got to do a better job with his ball security here. Turnovers, the name of the game when you got two good teams going against each other. Fortunate to recover his own fumble, or somebody from that Munich squad jumping on it. But that's a bread and butter play for Munich there.
Zelig has been used more as a receiver than as a running back. 7 receptions out of the backfield.
On the field for an injured player.
A timeout for injury. Meanwhile, Munich recovering the fumble and has a first down. Go ahead, Andrew.
Zelig, a multi-talented player. Mentioned last week on the broadcast that we had him in his rookie season in the ELF last year in Madrid. Used him in a very similar fashion. A do-it-all type guy, played fullback, essentially a slot receiver and a running back. He can do it all. Very young, very bright football player, and very skilled.
Yanni Goadfel, the safety, checking out for the Musketeers. 1st and 10 for Munich at their 32. Tabor. Wait for Mac Brown in North Carolina. Hands it off to Rodney, going right side with room, down the sideline, shoved out of bounds. But he is out to midfield and in Paris territory.
It looks like strong side, outside zone. Somebody's got to set that edge for the Paris defense. Can't lose contain, can't let this ball bounce to the perimeter. Good job by Rodney bringing those guys into the hole and then bouncing. That first drive for Paris, able to contain the run game. Here maybe seeing some cracks.
So Munich into Musketeer territory for the first time at the 47. 1st and 10. And picking his way through the line. Zelig, patient running. We've seen that both from Rodney and from Zelig in a 5-yard carry on first down for Munich.
Another zone read play with the bubble on the perimeter there. Tabor sees the end up the field, hands to Zelig. Really good tackle-to-tackle runner, can feel where those holes are, has the smaller stature and the strong legs, can get himself low, kind of disappears behind that line. Good run by Zelig.
A short 5 on second down from inside the 42. Tabor launches it left and overthrows Geyer, who broke off the route, and appears there was some kind of miscommunication.
Yeah, Geyer calling for the penalty. Obviously, the quarterback and receiver not on the same
Offensive
page
pass
there.
interference, number 0, 10-yard penalty from the previous spot, repeating second down.
They had the crossers in the middle of the field, possibly getting a pick in there. Didn't see Okonkwo, the tight end, what he did, but they were trying to run that pick play in the interior as a receiver. If you cannot put your hands on somebody, you can't make physical contact, you can just get in their way.
Second down. Bit of a high snap, handed off, room up the middle for Rodney, and he is down near the 41-yard line. And he indicates first down. I don't think he's got it.
See, they're using Nuri. I'm going to get that last name wrong. Sorry, Nuri from Nebraska. They're using him as their jumbo. Signed him 2 weeks ago. Started him split out wide. Kind of hard to integrate. As good a player as Nuri is, kind of hard to integrate these guys in once you've already started these late signings, finding a role for him as the jumbo tight end.
Third down and 3. 41 of Paris. Straight ahead, and the ball appeared to come out, and then running right was Tabor. I think that was a good fake that got everybody. Tabor running right.
Yeah, another zone read. Tabor elects to keep right there.
Yeah.
Looks like he may have gotten that first down. Outruns Jack Lowe to the perimeter. Tabor's so explosive and such a dangerous threat when he keeps that ball.
Third leading rusher in the EFA is the Munich quarterback, Russell Tabor. I mean, how are you game planning for a guy that is not only, gifted athletically and can extend a play, but is a legit threat as a running back in his own right?
The difficulty with running quarterbacks is they even up the numbers in the run game. You can imagine when the quarterback hands that ball off, right, the offense is playing 10 against 11 because the quarterback's not part of the play anymore. But when your quarterback can keep it, all of a sudden you're playing 11 on 11. Puts a lot of stress on the defense. Whoever is the read guy has to have great discipline.
Quarterback's ground game, picks up the first down from the 36. Here's Rodney. He breaks it. He goes up the middle at the 20, still on his feet, down to the 15 of Paris. Rodney bursting through before Jamalcolm Liggins finally brings him down.
Back to that strong side outside zone that they hit him with earlier in this drive. This time cuts up in the interior. Great job by Rodney putting his foot in the ground, getting north and south when he feels the hole open. Paris got to find an answer for that strong side zone.
Now the Musketeers with their best chance on their second possession. Throwing end zone left, Tabor. And Geyer wants a penalty. He won't get it. It's incomplete.
Geyer, a dangerous threat on the perimeter.
Good battle there.
Yeah, I'm going to give it the old classic hand fighting. I know if you're a Paris fan, you're saying that's clean. If you're a Munich fan, you're saying that's clearly pass interference. I kind of like it. Let the ref make a no call. Let's go play some football.
It's Idriss Jean-Alphonse in defense there of Geyer. 2nd and 10 for the 15. Tabor steps up, now in trouble, and the pass rush has brought him down to the 21-yard line. Jack Lowe with his 4th sack of the year for the Musketeers.
Lowe, a high-effort motor guy. Former, am I going to get this right? The Brisbane Rhinos, former Brisbane Rhino, along with Jordan Moko. A couple of Australians on this team. Great job by Lowe, keeping that pursuit of the quarterback. Lowe been on this Paris roster for a number of years now, really coming into his own as a football player.
Third down. Tabor fires to the end zone. It is caught. Touchdown, Munich.
Munich a little bit fortunate
Second score
right
of the
there.
year for Malik Stanley.
In motion, the receiver, Marvin Roosh, out of the backfield right there, but they weren't set before they sent the motion. It didn't appear. Roosh never gets set. Could potentially get called for the illegal shift, but a great job finding Stanley there in the scene. Great touch by Tabor.
So Munich on the board first. Daniel Schweiger on for the try. And he's got it. Munich up 7-0 in what had been a defensive and fast-moving first quarter, but the visitors draw first blood in Paris.
Munich establishing the run. You got to get that run established if you want to have success in the sport of football. They've got it established, able to get their pass game working off of that. Malik Stanley, good to see him get a catch. Malik Stanley with 6 catches through 2 games. Again, another American spot. Guys that you would hope are leading your league in, or leading your team in receptions. Stanley with just 6. But if you're scoring 50 points a game, I suppose it really doesn't matter how many times that guy's touching the ball.
Well, it's interesting. Some of the passing numbers have been a bit depressed for Munich, but that has stemmed from the fact that they've been able to run the ball so effectively. That's Stanley's 2nd touchdown catch of the year. But yeah, the reception numbers a little low for a guy who seems like he can pick apart defenses at will. Here's Mitchell. Mitchell backpedaling across the 25 before he is hemmed in. So the Musketeers start outside their own 30, now looking up at a 7-0 deficit here. We've seen better kick coverage from both teams in this game than we saw earlier in the year in the Munich affairs.
Yeah, right there. It felt like the refs didn't want to blow that thing dead. They were going to let that scrum last. They were going full rugby scrum, just going to wait until the ball hit the ground, it looked like. Good job by the coverage unit of Munich.
Well, that brings up an interesting point in this game. We had the privilege of covering Munich-Frankfurt, the German derby, last week, but there's always some good chippiness when these two teams are together, too. That is a completion on the left side for Paris. And out of bounds at the 45-yard line is Ugo Tekadam, who appears none the worse for wear after getting banged by Tony Anderson on the last possession.
Good job by Edwards. Right-handed quarterback going to his left. Always more difficult than you would think. Good job getting his hips open, putting that ball on Tekadam. Tekadam really emerging as a threat for this Paris team. Good to see him back on the field.
First and 10 for the Musketeers at their 43. Toss right. Nice cutback and good job picking his way. Jason Bafunda with a patient run up the middle. We've seen that from both teams' running backs. The ability to be patient behind your blockers is something that you don't often see in younger backs. It's something you kind of grow into.
Yeah, this is a really good job by Schmidt turning this ball back inside. And like you say, Bafunda, great job feeling his way through here. You're not in a hurry. Where is that hole? When I finally find it, that's when I'm going to turn on the jets.
But you got 21 giant men colliding all around you. It's hard not to be in a hurry.
Absolutely.
Funda again, and he squirts across midfield.
Paris, similar play to what we were seeing from Munich, pulling the guard and tackle. In this case, Zach Edwards reading that defensive end, gets a give read, hands it off to Bafunda behind the two pullers. Tough play to defend. That's why you see a lot of teams running it. You've got great angles on the front side to get to those backside linebackers who need to flow over the top with the pullers.
3rd and 2 for the Musketeers into Munich territory for the second time. And a running play's got the first down across the 45-yard line down to the 43 for Paris and Nicolas Kandar. That will be the final play of the first quarter.
Yeah, again, that
first time
duo
we've seen
run.
Nicolas Kandar.
Of the first quarter.
Munich with a 7-0 lead after 15 minutes at Paris. We'll be back. Accelerating, finds a hole at the 40, open field, is going all the way for the second week in a row, back for a touchdown. Allen going backwards, the ball comes out, it's picked up. Harris takes it in, let's see. Oh my goodness. Good fake from Garbers. He throws right. It's complete. It's a touchdown. Rodney. Touchdown. Even the being led the class of the EFA. Here's a pass on the right sideline. That's caught. Touchdown, Frankfurt. Steps up, goes down the middle, diving, catch in the end zone. Start of the second quarter. Paris on the move, down 7-0 at home to Munich. Edwards throws left, and that's intercepted on the near sideline. Harris with his second interception of the season, and Munich takes it away on the first play of the second quarter.
Harris continues to show he's a playmaker. His first game in Europe playing for the Cologne Centurions a couple years back. Interception for touchdown on Zach Edwards. Strikes again, great break on the ball, trying to hit Austin Mitchell on that outbreaker on the sideline.
Third interception thrown this year by Zach Edwards. Turnovers, an early season challenge for the Musketeers. That's their third interception. They've also lost a fumble. They're now -3 in turnover margin through 2 games and 1 quarter this season. First and 10 Munich at their 35 with a 7-0 lead on the road. 2 unbeatens. A clash atop the standings here in Paris. A burrowing run doesn't yield much for Rodney in Munich. Second down.
They're trying to go downhill there on the right side. Good job by the interior of that Paris defensive line, wadding that thing up, letting their backers come untouched into the line of scrimmage, get that ball on the ground.
Now, when you're talking about wadding that thing up, that's like a run fit, which I think you touched on earlier, becomes more precarious because of Tabor's rushing ability, right? That's what messes up the run fit.
Yeah, you've got to be sound, you've got to play in your gap, and then you've got to have the awareness. If I'm not getting blocked, am I the guy who's getting read and be ready to react, figure out who's got that ball, like you say, with 21 other massive bodies flying around you. Who's actually got the ball, and now I got to get him on the ground.
Well, Rodney's got a first down with room up the middle, and this is vintage Munich. This is classic Ravens football. They're just moving their opposition out of the way and running for big chunks of yardage. They've got another first down in midfield.
One back counter right there. Great job. I think they pulled the center, the little change up center, kicking out the defensive end. Jumbo tight end, the second puller in the hole. Good job by Nuri connecting in space there, getting that play started.
First and 10 in midfield. Rodney came into the game averaging 6.4 yards per carry. High snap there for Tabor. He pulls it down, and he'll bounce outside to the right and salvage that play.
Tabor's athleticism on display on the bad snap, still able to get around low. Almost got out there to the perimeter.
I mean, that's not how you draw it up, but any opportunity to get him on the outside is an exciting moment for Munich fans.
Just such explosive quickness.
Munich on the move after intercepting Paris, trying to add to their lead here. A fake and completion on the left flat. And up the left side, that looks like Rush with the completion. That's his first catch of the ball game. Marvin Rush.
There's that zone read bubble that we saw them run earlier. They handed it off that time. This time they're taking a look at the linebacker who's split between Marvin Rush and the tackle. Does he play too far inside on the run? Then they're going to throw it out to the perimeter, and if he expands, they're going to hand it off that time. Backer falling into the box to stop the run, so they spit it out to the edge.
Third and short. Another high snap. And going left side, Tabor says, I've got that first down, and he does.
Paris brings the house on third and short. Tabor with the keeper. Great job with the stiff arm, keeping Liggins from getting into his body and getting himself that first down.
And a really good fake froze the defense, allowed him to get outside. First and 10 at the 39 of Paris. There's a fake. Tabor rolling right. Will he run? Will he throw? He throws to the end zone. Incomplete. He wanted Geyer, who was double covered.
Naked boot, sneaking, uses Zelig underneath the formation, trying to get him out in the flat. Tabor gets to his last option, the deep route there to Louis Geyer. A little bit late in the down, hard to connect on these things this far down the field when you're throwing it late. Coverage able to recover. That ball has to hang in the air a long time just to cover the distance. DBs with the opportunity to react and recover.
Karamoko broke up that pass. Geyer still got a good look at that one. That was a closer to a completion scenario than I initially observed. Here's the second down completion right side. Rodney swing pass out of bounds with positive yardage. bring up third and manageable.
Again in the jumbo, instead of motioning Nuri back into the core of the formation, left him split out. I don't know if you guys were looking at the top of your screen there, but that's a big man running a hitch route. That's a 315-pound hitch route right there. You got to throw it out there, test his hands. I want to see what he's got.
Gain of almost 4. It's 3rd and a long 6 in the 35 of Paris. Tabor dumps it off, and it's off the hands of Okonkwo, the tight end. Incompletion. 4th and 7. You leave the offense on there, right, Andrew?
Absolutely. No risk it, no biscuit, no guts, no glory. Scared money don't make money. We're going for it on 4th down. Let's go.
No risk it, no biscuit. I like that. I haven't heard that one before, Coach.
That's I might have more. Nothing popped into my head immediately, though. Oh, no. Oh, we're punting.
So maybe it's a nod to the way this game might be played with field position and defense. But Munich elects to punt, and a fair catch inside the 15-yard line for Mitchell and Paris. I'm surprised by that, Andrew. I really thought it was 4th and 7 plus out of the 50. You think Munich might go for it, but they decide to punt.
I can understand a little bit tough at 4th and 7. You just run 3 plays. You average 1 yard per play. You're a little bit on edge. Yeah, I don't know if we're going to get 7 yards in one shot after 3 consecutive poor plays. It would be very interesting, or interestingly enough, when I was with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, our analytics guys would present these situations to us in the NFL. That is a go-for-it situation.
Yeah.
And as a coach in the NFL, though, very hard with a 4th and 7 to justify it, because if you don't get it, everybody's calling for your head.
Twin slot formations for Zach Edwards. The Paris quarterback is complete. And he's got a first down on the slant out across the 25-yard line. Ugo Tekadum with another reception. Move the chains for the Musketeers.
Well designed little trap play with an out. If they get a bad box, they've got the polar. Keeps those defenders coming into the box. Not very dissimilar from that bubble we saw Munich throw just a second ago. This time just a little 5-yard stop route as the answer instead of the bubble against the bad box.
3rd completion for Edwards. 1st and 10, Paris. Well, keep it on the ground. And not much there on the right side for Nicola Kandar.
Play they call pin and pull right there. Tight end blocks down. You try to get pullers out ahead. Try to pry that defense apart. Looks like the cornerback, Nitzlander, does a good job setting the edge, getting in on that tackle. Got to get a kick out on the edge to get the play started. Well, he fits inside. Well done.
Nicola Kandar came into the game with 52 yards rushing on 12 carries for Paris, averaging more than 4 yards per rush. 2nd down and 8.5. Nicola straight ahead again. He's near first down yardage. Bursting up the middle for the Musketeers, Nicola Kandar.
Jordan Moko right there, running a track, what they call a deuce track, a double team block between the guard and tackle. He's running that track, sees the hip of the defender, gets him moved, starts opening that hole on the front side. They're pulling the guard from the backside on power. Moko, a great addition for this Musketeers team with an exceptional block at the point of attack right there.
So Moko, an addition, as we've talked about, what a test of professionalism to be thrust into a game like this with not much time to prepare, as Paris picks up the first down and the carry by Bafunda. But if you're an offensive lineman, I mean, that is a complicated position group, and you've got to get up to game speed in a matter of days.
Yeah, linemen, we all think of linemen as big, dumb animals. That is the most difficult, mind-bending position to play outside of the quarterback spot. So many different looks you can encounter, so many rules you have, so much communication that has to happen. Moko, a captain at the beginning of this game, obviously making an impression in a very short period of time for the Musketeers.
1st and 10 outside the 40. Paris driving, down 1 score. Bafunda outside. Ooh, big hit at the 39-yard line. Tony Anderson again. Tony Anderson is French for Ronnie Lott. That is the second huge hit we've seen in this first half.
A little bias on my part. We had Tony Anderson when I was coaching with the Rhine Fire. He was on our defense. Tony Anderson also can play receiver. Tony had to fill in, play some wide receiver for us, had a couple of big catches. The guy is as talented as anybody you're going to see in this European League.
Coach, the closing speed is hard to miss. Wow. 2nd down handoff. Bafunda again cuts back, trying to backpedal to the 35-yard line. Won't quite get there. The scrum holds him up.
Little glimpse at the size of Bijan Harris being a factor here. You see him show up in a hurry. The explosive quicks back to the line of scrimmage. I don't know that he wanted to get Bafunda on the ground right there, but ultimately does get him turned back to his help. Some of those little guys very good in coverage on the perimeter, but tackling is scary and it hurts. I get you.
Now in Harris's defense, I say for most cornerbacks, he's above the fold in relishing contact, but Bafunda's a pretty big back, so he was giving up some pounds there.
Yes, Bafunda, a big back. Bafunda come up through the French leagues, has been on the radar in the ELF and now the EFA for a number of years, bouncing back and forth between on the the Musketeers and off, doing a great job so far, obviously, at the beginning of this season.
There's Coach Kendall
right now. Yeah, giving it to Tony. Good. Let him hear it. Oh, maybe it's a different TA. Nope, not my Tony. Never mind.
Just back to that thought about Molko on the Paris offensive line. It is such a difficult position group. I was privileged to sit in some offensive line meetings at the University of Nevada under former offensive line coach Angus McClure during fall camp, and it's like sumo wrestling in a ballet troupe. It is the most unimaginable violence, but also choreographed with giant, agile men. It is one of the most humbling things I've ever experienced in my reporting career, being in offensive line film sessions. Back to action. Edwards incomplete on the right side. That sets up 4th and 4 at the 45.
Just trying to hit the quick stop route to Liam Ward there. A little stumble by the tight end. They're not on the same page. 4th and 5 here, short of the 50. I'm going for it. Let's see what Paris elects to do. To your point about the offensive line, another underappreciated. They have to make their adjustments and react immediately. They have about 6 inches between them and the nearest defender. Running backs have 5 yards to figure things out. Quarterbacks 5 yards to figure things out.
Yeah, that's the other impressive part about the offensive line group is, you're doing math during the snap count. You're trying to figure out these changing matchups because the defense can move. It's not fair. And yeah, I find the ability, anybody's ability to play offensive line competent is remarkable, but a guy like Molko who just joins, 1 week's worth of preparation at most and is able to perform at this level, it's really impressive. Touchback gives it to Munich at their 20 with a 7-0 lead. Here in the second quarter. Tabor hands it off, and straight ahead, bouncing into the defense is Justus Zelig, maybe a yard.
Yeah, it looked like influence trap. They're pulling a guard to the edge to try to set up a block on the interior right there. No, just a pin and pull with the center kicking out the defensive end. Good job by Paris winning on the interior right there. Defeating the back block up front allowing the linebacker to flow downhill to the football.
Second and 10. Tabor hands it off. Rodney didn't get much there. We've talked a lot about the Paris pass rush, but the Paris run defense, front seven, doing a good job in this sequence.
Yeah, Mamadou Sy, big body in the interior. Jack Lowe with great effort. This Paris team, they play with a very physical brand of football up front. You can see C in on this tackle. Mamadou says, Mama, don't run that thing in here while I'm in the game.
Nicely turned, Coach.
Yeah, thank you. I've waited a long time. It took over a quarter to get there.
You got to wait for your pitch. It's 3rd and 9. Yep. And whistle sound. Timeout, Paris.
Before the snap, timeout. Paris Musketeers, their first team timeout in the first half.
So both sides have used one timeout here in the first half. You get the sense that for Paris on the offensive side, if they can get a little more efficiency out of Edwards, they'll be in good shape. The Paris defense right now is holding the line against the most potent scoring offense in the EFA. They have kept this thing very close here.
Yeah, obviously the turnover on their last possession, or turnover earlier in this game, turnovers will kill you 100% of the time. And then the penalties, another drive inside the 20, killed by penalties. Paris can't have those things if they want to maintain pace with this Munich offense, but the defense is answering the bell.
Yeah, the Musketeers defense bailing them out. 3rd and 9 now for Munich from their own 21. Tabor, pressure, running right. Lowe's after him, flag down, pass downfield, and incomplete on the sideline. Let's see what that flag's about. It came out when you would expect a holding call.
Yeah, right in that vicinity where you get your hold. If that's the case, obviously we're going to see a decline by Paris, force the punt by Munich.
Holding.
Hopefully put the Musketeers in good field
Penalties
position.
declined. The result of the play is a 4th down.
Again, that high motor by Jack Lowe. He draws the penalty, fighting through the entire down to try to get to that quarterback. Gotta love defensive ends who play with desperation in their play style.
Punt formation, low snap, pressure. I don't think that kick got away. I think that's a block. And a recovery and a touchdown. Paris, punt, block, touchdown. And special teams strikes for the Musketeers.
They picked a great time to come after that kick. Poor operation time by the Ravens. They get the free runner down the pipe, able to get his hands on that. Obviously, everybody was fooled. Camera operator included. Great job coming down. Let's see it here on the replay. Well, they get the unblocked man right down the middle.
That's
conjunction
Johannes Gonçalves with the block. And if your offense can't get it done, special teams can score too. Now a chance to tie for the Musketeers, and Dean Faithful on for the try. Johannes Gonçalves with the block, triggering the recovery in the end zone, and Paris. It's a PAT away from drawing even with Munich. And Andrew, I know that we've both advocated for 4th downs, keeping the offense on the field, but given the tone of this game right now with offense and not doing a lot, the defense is coming to the fore, we might see more punting in this one than we have come to expect.
I personally hope we don't see more punting, but I'm with you. I agree. Field position, a critical factor. As we see here, the bumble on the snap.
Well, poor Levin Adram had no chance. And then Gonsalves the block.
Fun fact for the viewers, having a little discussion pregame on exactly how to pronounce Gonsalves. There it comes. Good thing that you were well prepared right there. Big play by the young man.
Lokman Najem, the recovery in the end zone for Paris. 7-7 tie now. So that's why the Musketeer defense keeping Munich within one score is so critical, because then you're just one big play away from a tie game. And lightning has struck here in the second quarter at Stade Bauer. Would you kick to Harris right here?
Probably not. Last time they were able to kick that thing into the end zone, they had the one with hit and bounce back. This time into the end zone. Good job by Faithful. Keep it away from the playmakers.
The first
and force them to
Harris
execute.
has an interception, but has not had much of a return opportunity in this game. But Bijan Harris, kind of a ticking time bomb in all these games so far. It's funny to say he's only had one interception.
Yeah, we were a little spoiled last week. He brought that opening kickoff, took that back to the house, had the fumble recovery all over the field for the Munich Ravens defense and special teams.
For the Ravens, this is the most adversity they've faced this regular season. They had two one-sided wins, a blowout of Raiders Tirol in the opener and a win against Frankfurt last week. There's a completion and good for a first down, running up the hash marks across the 30-yard line. A completion to Sixten Dragon. His first grab of the game for Munich, 1st and 10. But for the Ravens, apart from a quasi-comeback when they were down big late from Frankfurt last week, this is the most competitive game they've been in.
Yeah, and it's tough. The homegrown rules, the rules around roster construction, they can lead to some imbalanced teams based on where you're originating from. Now we've got a real face, a real difficult task for this Ravens offense. See how they respond.
Good coverage on the pass to the flats. Nowhere to go for Rodney. Jamalcolm Liggins with good pursuit.
For the most part, they've been putting Liggins on the backside of their passing concepts. This time working him on the front side, leaving him there without using the motion. Liggins responds, getting that running back on the ground, keeping that thing as close to a no-yard gain as he possibly can.
Second and 14 after the tackle for a loss back outside the 30. Tabor guns it on a slant, incomplete. Targeting Geyer again. They've been really focused on him, but Paris has not allowed Geyer much room at all. This one incomplete. It's 3rd down.
Geyer, one of the best international receivers in the league. And yes, they've done a great job of limiting his impact on this game so far. Coverage all over him. Idris Alphonse with a tough draw with Jamalcolm Liggins going to Malik Stanley's side.
Seems like whenever the ball is thrown towards Geyer, there's multiple Navy jerseys right around him. Now 3rd down and long. Tabor pressured, rolling right, looking downfield, and down he goes. Couldn't tell if he slipped or tried to give himself up and then lost his balance. But either way, it's a punting situation for Munich. And remember, they just had a punt blocked and recovered for a touchdown.
Pressure on the interior there.
Yeah,
Baptiste Polier.
Tried to put on the brakes. Tackle by gravity there. And now let's see what happens on this punt. Adram gets this one away. Knuckles to about the 40. Mitchell breaks a tackle, has some room, and then he stumbles. Looked like he tripped over the 45-yard line. So both sides with a little series of stumbles, and Mitchell with a rueful grin on his face after this return is cut short. Kind of spun his wheels.
The grass with 2 big plays in a row, getting the quarterback down, and then getting Mitchell on the ground here. You know, and I don't know, I haven't been to this stadium here in Paris, but a lot of these stadiums, this soccer grass that they're playing on, it's a different brand of grass. It's a different species of grass. And football cleats, sometimes they don't grip it like you would hope.
Nevertheless, great starting field position for the Musketeers. Zip it out right side, and that's a completion to Ugo Tekadum. He moves the scrum to the 45-yard line of Munich.
Quick speed screen to the slot. One guy has to get their block, and you're going to get positive yardage. Takes a lot of pressure off of everybody to execute that line. Doesn't need to protect the quarterback. The quarterback doesn't have to find the open guy. Keep running those screens. Takes a lot of pressure off of everybody.
Perhaps a change in momentum after the punt block recovered for a touchdown. Paris has it in Munich territory, tied at 7. 2-minute warning here in the first half. Andrew Weidinger, John Ramey with you from Stade Bauer in Paris. 2 unbeaten teams atop the standings in the European Football Alliance, and the Paris Musketeers surviving some early miscues, including an interception from Zach Edwards, and then taking advantage of a Munich miscue on a low snap on a punt, and blocking that punt, recovering it for the equalizing touchdown. Now the Musketeers on the march.
We got a good football game on our hands. I don't know if you heard in the huddle there. Munich going with overknife, show cloud, going to get the nose tackle set away from wherever the tight end is. Knife, probably a pressure. They're going to make it look like they're playing some version of cover 2, probably turning into a single high coverage right here. Let's see what Paris has as an answer.
Both head coaches, Kendrell Ellison for Munich, Jack Del Rio for Paris. Defensive coaches by trade, so they run the defense. Second down and 2.5. Edwards sets up with time. And he's incomplete inside the 30-yard line. Tedecum looked like he had his hands on it for a minute there.
Well, I stand corrected. Knife is not a blitz. I did get the over portion of that call correct. Deep crossing route. Look at Tony Anderson flip his hips, get back to this thing. Tekadum he has to come down with that. This is a critical situation at the end of this first half right here. That is a catchable ball, but Tony Anderson hitting him right as that ball is arriving.
Anderson's physicality on Tekadum has been a major plot, a major theme throughout this first half.
Check. After the play was over, personal foul, unnecessary roughness, offense number 66. 15-yard penalty from the previous spot. Third down.
That's Jordan Moko, who we've been talking about, who just joined the Musketeer offensive line this week.
Yeah, Paris got to figure out, are they going to put their own personal problems ahead of the teams here and take themselves out of scoring range? How many times do they want to take themselves out of scoring range doing something selfish? Really, really bad timing to get yourself a personal foul. Trying to take the lead here going into the half.
I'm just trying to figure out, like they said 66, Moko on the penalty. It was an incomplete pass. It's not like you were unstacking a pile on your quarterback. So 3rd and long now, 3rd and 18. Screen pass right side, Mitchell, nowhere to go, buried at the line of scrimmage, well covered. Nasri was in there for Munich.
Just moments after I'm expounding on the advantages of the screen game, they missed the first block. If you don't get that first block, you've got a problem on your hands to be able to get that ball on the ground in a hurry.
So now Munich using their second timeout, trying to preserve some half. Coach Kendrell there managing the clock so that if his offense gets the ball back, there's some time with which they might score. Remember, Paris won the toss of the coin and deferred to the second half, so they'll have the ball first. So this is a very important potential possession for Munich if they can get it back here inside of 2 minutes. Punt formation for Paris. Low snap. And a short punt tumbles from the heavens at the 45 and takes a Musketeer roll. But a modest punt will get it only to the 37. So Munich has action here with 92 seconds left to go in the first half. 1 timeout remaining, and the game tied at 7.
Good pressure up front by that Munich punt rush. Kind of forced that punter. I didn't know if it got maybe tipped or not. Definitely not the punt they were looking for right there. Very good field position for an explosive Munich offense. Like you say, 92 seconds in 1 timeout. You're going to want to call that last timeout around that 32, 33 second mark. Clock rules. Clock is going to run on anything inbounds. College rules stops on the first down. These are NFL rules here in the EFA. Got to be hustling back to the line of scrimmage in the 2-minute drill.
Opportunity for Tabor and the Ravens. Russell alone in the backfield now after that motion. 5 wide receiver package. Flag down. And Tabor hustles out of bounds. That pass rush from Paris is giving Munich trouble.
Yeah, looked like another hold probably here. They've got the TE game. The end on that inside move comes out of the game, comes all the way back over the top there to hunt down Tabor, get him out of bounds.
Holding.
Interesting fact.
Number 57. Penalty is the 10 yards from the
As they say, it is the hold. You're actually more likely to convert a 1st and 20 in the NFL than you are a 2nd and 10.
Is that right?
Yeah, I didn't believe it the first time I heard it either. We did a double check. It's true. The problem being you have the implications of field position, so that's why the penalty is usually accepted.
Twin halfbacks now flanking Tabor on 1st and 20. The line of scrimmage back to the 27-yard line. Quarterback draw. Sliding is Tabor out near the 35. Let's see where they spot it. Give him the 34-yard line, gain of 7. We've seen this play go for big yardage and touchdowns for Munich in the first 2 games of the season. This one, healthy 7-yard gain, but not the game breaker we have maybe come to expect from Tabor, who's been pretty well contained this first half as a runner. There's a completion to Stanley on the near side, out of bounds. That'll stop the clock.
Yeah, that draw, a good conservative call. You're in a bad situation with that 20 yards to go for the first down. Keep it on the ground. If you're able to get something, okay, we're going to keep trying to put this drive together. If not, you can kind of play knowing that you need to get more time off the clock. Finds Stanley here, gets out of bounds, gets that clock stopped. Critical 3rd and 5 for both sides.
So good management of the 20 yards to go following the penalty for Munich as they get 2 big chunks. Now 3rd and 5. Same twin halfback formation. Tabor under pressure, goes right side, leaping grab at the 40-yard line. Zelig down inside the 30 of Paris. Eustace Zelig with a big catch, and that sets up the Ravens now. The clock moving down towards 30 seconds to go in the first half.
Just a rail route out of the backfield. They lose sight of Eustace. You can see his versatility for a tiny little guy going up and getting that ball.
Stanley out of bounds, frustrated on the near side. Clock stopped at 21 seconds following the incompletion.
Stanley and Liggins a really good matchup. Two really big-bodied players out there. Liggins is big a corner, as you'll find. And Stanley, maybe the biggest receiver in the EFA. Large human beings going at it on the perimeter.
It's been a good game in Paris. Munich trying to steal some points before the end of the half. Going towards the end zone. Falling down. Stanley incomplete.
Double move out and up. They hit the out 2 plays earlier, setting up this out and up. Liggins all over it, in his face, on that goal line. Stanley tracks this ball. Save space to the sideline. Oh, not able to corral it. Probably could have been a touchdown because he did have that hip on the ground right there. Liggins, good job making it as hard as possible for Stanley. Yeah, probably out of bounds.
I think Liggins got away with a little shove there.
Yeah, they've been letting it go, though, so far.
For sure.
I'm more a fan of letting them play.
Yeah, they've been very consistent.
But I
Third
do
down.
agree with you.
Screen pass. Underneath. Zelig sliding out of bounds before he gets to the 20.
Kalani asking for the hold. He's absolutely right. They held him big time there on the perimeter. If they didn't throw the flag, though, my man, it's not coming now. He gets tackled. He's entering the screen here. There he gets tackled. Able to clip Zelig's ankle right there. You can see the tight end of Okonkwo grabbing him from behind. Keep those hands inside the framework of the body. They'll never call it.
Okay, 4th down and 4 seconds.
Paris is charged by the second team timeout.
So this, one would suspect, is Daniel Schweiger's hour and moment here in the first half. Kenny
Yeah, 4
Tia
seconds.
coming off. Sorry, go ahead, Andrew.
Yeah, 4 seconds. Only enough time to run a single play. If you don't think you're getting the touchdown right here and you don't have good plays, there is nothing in an offensive playbook that is good for this situation. Field goal, the obvious answer.
Schweiger from 38 yards out, trying to give Munich the lead before half. Paris has a timeout to burn. I think they'll use it.
Crafty move. Jack Del Rio icing the kicker. Schweiger in his own head now got to think this one through for a good 60 seconds.
Because teams are not allowed to call second timeout in the same mental period. There is an unsportsmanlike conduct. Paris, the penalty is a half distance to the goal and automatic first down.
That's brutal. Because of the timeout on the injury, that timeout to ice the kicker was interpreted as a consecutive timeout. Holy
yes,
cow.
Is the rule. That is the rule, making this kick a whole lot closer. Not the crafty move that I made it out to be.
No. And Andrew, do you maybe think about putting the off? I mean, you got Russell Tabor. You could just run. I mean, do you rethink the kick here?
So when we would approach this long ago, Tampa Bay Buccaneers, if we were at the 8-yard line or closer, then it becomes a very real possibility. That's where you have plays where guys can get into that end zone and get open and you feel comfortable with it. But here from the 10, they're electing to go for it. I like the aggressiveness. This is a tougher situation than it feels like as a fan. 10 yards is a lot of ground to cover, especially in this red zone where you can't threaten the defense back. There isn't a lot of field to threaten them into. Let's see what they come up with here.
What should be the final snap of the first half, Munich pulls the place-kicking unit off the field after the penalty. Now diving between the hashes and sliding down to center up a kick. And timeout Munich with their final timeout of the half. So instead of taking a shot in the end zone, they just tried to center this up for Schweiger at a closer distance.
my personal opinion on the situation, unless your kicker is saying, hey, there's no chance I'm going to make it from the right hash, I have to have this in the middle of the field, I'm not rolling those dice. 4 seconds to go, they're all going to come off the clock when you kick this thing. Now, if your kicker feels far more comfortable from the middle, okay, it feels a little overly risky, but they're making it work. So who am I to judge?
Daniel Schweiger, the kicker. Yannick Novak, the holder. High snap spotted. Kick is up, and Schweiger got it. And Munich takes a 10-7 lead to halftime. A great 30 minutes comes to an appropriately exciting finish. What a good first half of football.
First half.
Paris will get it to start the second half, but Andrew, that was a very competitive first stanza.
Yeah, obviously we like to see a lot of scoring. Everybody loves points getting put up on the board, but what a great back and forth. Two good football teams here. Paris answering the call. Question marks coming in. Can they handle this Munich offense? They have handled them so far, and if not for a couple of little mistakes here and there, this could be a Paris lead. As it stands, we're a 3-point game.
We've reached halftime in the City of Light, visiting Munich with a 10-7 lead over the Musketeers. Come on back.
time.
Andrew Weidinger, John Ramey with you. Stade Bauer in Paris. It is halftime, 10-7. Munich leading the Paris Musketeers. Two unbeatens clashing atop the standings in the European Football Alliance in Week 4. Munich with a late field goal to take this 3-point lead. Daniel Schweiger converting after a penalty set up the Ravens down inside the 12-yard line with 4 seconds to go. What was going to be a 38-yard attempt was shortened significantly. Schweiger able to convert, and Munich will kick it to Paris. They won the toss, did the Musketeers, and deferred to the second half. So the Musketeers will get the ball first. Their touchdown came from special teams. A punt block by Joannis Gonçalves. It was then recovered in the end zone by Lokman Najem. That's how Paris got their points. What do they have to do to get their offense going in the second half?
They had the same situation when they were playing against Prague a couple weeks ago. That offensive identity, what are they going to be? How are they going to establish it against Prague? They got the run game going late. They have to find something. What is it they are best at? They have to identify that, and they have to ride that horse. As of right now, though, they're still searching.
Meanwhile, for Munich, as we talked about in the first half, this is by far their toughest test so far this year after one-sided wins over Tirol and Frankfurt to start their campaign. And now on the road with a 3-point lead, but the Musketeers have been right in there. And they'll get the ball to start here in half number 2. Zach Edwards unofficially 4 for 10 passing for 54 yards. He's been intercepted once. The Parisian quarterback for Munich. Russell Tabor, quiet, 3 of 9 for 32 yards, although a touchdown pass to Malik Stanley.
That athleticism and size. Oh, I'm sorry, John.
After you, Andrew.
The athleticism and size up front for Paris doing a great job disrupting that Munich offense, getting after Tabor. They obviously have to keep that up. If they could get the exact same performance in the second half, they'll walk away happy.
Rodney, 65 yards rushing for Munich on 7 carries. But, again, Tabor contained 10 yards on 4 carries. You'll take that all day. Meanwhile, on the ground for Paris, Kandar has 17 yards on 3 carries. Jason Bafunda has carried the ball 7 times. But again, no touchdowns for Jack Del Rio's offense. It was his special teams on a punt block that produced the lone touchdown for the home team that tied the game at 7 at the time. Paris was intercepted once. That was Bijan Harris, who intercepted for Munich. As you see the quarterback, Russell Tabor, there for the visiting Ravens. But Paris's defense didn't allow that turnover to impact the scoreboard. So we get set for the start of the second half. And Coach Kendrell Ellison, third-year head man with Munich, clarifying something with Stanley Hamadar and his crew. There's Rodney. But I would say the victory has to be, at least to this point, to Paris in preventing big plays. Remember, Munich, at every snap of the football last week, it seemed like, was producing big plays on offense, defense, and special teams. Paris has kept them from coming to a boil.
Limiting explosives is the name of the game. Turnovers and explosives, the two stats that actually contribute directly to your won-loss percentage more than any other stat out there. They've done a great job of limiting those explosives. They've got to flip that turnover ratio.
So something being explained to Coach Kendrell here.
As a veteran of the European leagues, you can argue with that official all you want. You're not going to win. Sometimes you just got to roll with the flow.
Are there differences in how much communication the officiating crews will tolerate from coaching staffs?
You know, they've actually, some of the best communication I've ever seen in games has come from these European crews. They have evolved immensely over the last 5-6 years. Somebody will be in your ear, assisting you in any sort of challenge type situations and keeping you abreast of what's taking place with their conversations as officials. They have really evolved and become actually very good at what they do, a very, very difficult job officiating a football game. It's fun to say they get everything wrong, but these guys, they have one of the hardest jobs on the field, making sure they're getting these things right and understanding the rules. And these European officials have done a much better job as time has gone on of being very good at that.
Well, the rapport between coaches and officiating crews is so crucial to how you can coach a game, how you can manage the clock. So it's good to hear that that line of communication has been really solid. Here is Munich kicking it to Austin Mitchell for Paris to start the second half. Mitchell with a head of steam, and he's got room to the 30 and out of bounds near sideline, out near the 35-yard line. Good return for the Musketeers. Austin Mitchell is perhaps the big play threat we've seen the least so far. Andrew, you've talked about how Mitchell being involved in a big way is key for Paris coming down the stretch here.
Yes, got to get your best players involved. Can't just be in special teams. Got to find a way to manufacture touches on offense for Austin Mitchell. He is your A player. He needs to be your primary target, and he needs to be the reason you're winning.
So Paris starts on offense, facing a 3-point deficit. 1st and 10 from their 35, the home team in the navy blue. 3-man front for Munich. They bring a blitz. They run away from the blitz. Bafunda thrown down to the line of scrimmage as all the white shirts swarm him. Reich was there to lead the charge.
Again, pulling that backside guard and tackle, trying to get out ahead. The first puller he's going to kick, when that ball bounces, nobody is working for the running back anymore. He's on his own. If he's going to bounce that, he's got to be right. Probably not the right decision right there. Although runners run, maybe didn't have any action on the interior.
No gain for Bafunda. 2nd and 10, Edwards. Bafunda on his left hip. 5-man rush now for Munich. Edwards pressured, lost the ball. Picked up by Munich inside the 30. And a takeaway for the Ravens.
They brought that off the ball linebacker to the offense's left right there. They let the defensive end go free. He forces Zach to step up. They get that ball knocked out. Got to have better ball security in the pocket, but the communication starts up front. That right side of the offensive line, they cannot let that happen.
So Munich gets it back in great shape. That was Johannes Zerngibbel who knocked it loose for Munich. And so
Zerngibbel really evolved as a player over the last couple of seasons. Kind of a high-effort guy with good quickness, who was a little bit lost a couple of years back in terms of just general understanding, has really, really come on strong, is a very dominant force at this point in his career.
Johannes came in tied for the team lead in sacks. He forces a fumble, a huge recovery, and a golden opportunity for Munich at the Paris 28-yard line just into the second half. Munich with a 3-point lead. Justin Rodney tries the right side and smashes towards the 25.
Downhill running duo. Sixton dragging the receiver, having to block that Sam linebacker there on the edge. Sam able to shed the block of Sixton. Sixton, a big physical receiver, able to go in there and grind it out and do some dirty work. Doesn't win that rep, but he'll get his wins as the game goes on.
Gotta love it when your receivers relish blocking. The second down running play again, trying the right side and flopping across the 25 to the 24-yard line is Justus Zelig. So you see the twin running backs here early in the second half for Munich. Rodney, Thunder, Zelig, Lightning. They've got quickness, they've got power in that backfield. Third and 6. Conquo tight end motion, sets up wing left. Paris blitzing. Tabor in trouble, hit. Backpedaling, trying to get away. He's roped down to the 40-yard line. The rush got him. Ilan Barbaras breaking through from linebacker.
They get the 5-man front. They get every lineman locked into the man in front of them. Drop the ends. Bring a backer down that A-gap. You see unblocked here in the A-gap. The guard has to rally back. Very difficult to do. Well designed right there. Baiting that line into a blocking scheme that can't pick this up. And a good job wrestling Tabor to the ground. So hard to get guys like that on the ground.
This would be a 57-yard field goal. Wow, what a spot. I thought they were going to mark that down at the 40-yard line because it looked like Tabor was still trying to get away, but forward progress halted at the 31. So that makes things a little different. I was anticipating maybe a punt here from Munich back out at the line of scrimmage at the 40-yard line, but let's see how they want to approach this one. Either way, the Paris defense once again bailing out the offense after a turnover.
Yeah, offense leaving that defense hanging them out to dry, and the defense with a huge response. Great design on the blitz. And I can't stress enough how difficult it is. An athletic player like a Russell Tabor with the experience, especially a lot of these A quarterbacks have, very hard. I don't care if you're a free runner at the quarterback. You're talking about a guy who has thousands and thousands of fewer reps of football versus a quarterback who has significantly more experience. It's hard to get those guys on the ground. Great job by Barbaras getting him down, getting him wrestled down, and killing the play.
All right, Coach, they're going for it on fourth and looks like 13.
Scared money don't make money.
Tabor rolling out to his left. Throws to the end zone, overthrows his target. He wanted Stanley. It's incomplete with coverage from Jamalcolm Liggins. So turnover on downs. Paris survives the turnover.
Delayed boot here. Some teams will call this dash pass. They're trying to run the hook and wheel with Stanley running the post on the backside. Just unable to find him. Good job by Liggins tracking him down the field right there. Probably good ball placement, putting it back behind Stanley with Liggins chasing so hard. Just sails a little bit too far and out of bounds.
So the Musketeers have the ball back. What a huge sequence for the Paris defense after the offense turned the ball over inside their 30. Zach Edwards, the quarterback, in pistol formation. Hand it off. And going left side for a little is Nikola Kandar.
Duo again, downhill, double team run. Only getting 3 right here. A little tough, this field defense, and they motion that receiver across, gets that Sam linebacker on the edge. Duo typically hits downhill or bounces outside. They don't have a blocker for the Sam when that receiver leaves right there. Ball forced to hit in the interior where there might not be good options to push it forward.
Second down and 8. Knocked away on an attempted pass to the left sideline, trying to get it out to Hassan Dosso. But it's knocked away. Incompletion brings up third down and 8.5 for 9. Good coverage.
Good job breaking on that hitch. Looks like Nitzlander out there on the corner. Man coverage, bringing the pressure, bringing the Mike and Sam off the strong side edge there.
Third and 9. Paris just trying to find any offense here. Munich showing a big blitz. They come with 5. Is it enough? Edwards gets away. Flag is down. Edwards throws back over the middle, incomplete. Believe we'll have a holding call here. They got pressure with the 5 up front.
Holding.
So an apparent punting situation for Paris here as the penalty is declined.
It looked like Zergenbill maybe sold that hold just a little bit right there. They had the double mug. It looked like they had 3 defensive linemen. The offense is left right here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Maybe just 2.
Punt formation for Paris. From the 26 and hit right away. Great punt coverage down the field. Blanchard and Buku nearly took that punt away from Harris.
And Buku with his second play on special teams all over the field in the kicking game for Paris. Your depth players, they are all homegrowns. They have to come out and they have to provide relief, 1, for your starters, and 2, got to make plays when they're called upon. And Buku showing up big, getting the league's best returner on the ground before he can get anything started. Great punt, great coverage.
Andrew, I think Paris is by far the most physical opponent Munich has faced through 2+ games this year. And I'm not so sure they're not the more physical team in this game.
I like it. I like the strong statement. There's certainly a chance. We'll have to see how the rest of this plays out, but they are absolutely getting after a Munich front that's used to pushing people around.
Munich ball from their 25. Russell Tabor has been held in check, and he burns a timeout. Here in the third quarter, Munich takes a second-half timeout.
Munich Ravens, it's their second team timeout in the second half.
I think
this
that's
Paris
their first
group
time out
coach
of the half, Coach, just to, since we're in charge of,
So,
since we're always tracking clock
keep
management,
track.
I think that's their first time out of the half.
I think you're right. This Paris defense, initial head coach of this team, Mark Mattioli, now the defensive coordinator at Kennesaw State, or most recently the head coach, the defense coordinator at Kennesaw State. Defense has been this team's identity from the beginning between Mattioli and now Coach Del Rio. Have always been big and physical up front, and they've improved their back end immensely from week 1, year 1 to now. This is a very, very good unit.
So out of the timeout, 1st and 10 Munich. Under center is Tabor. We haven't seen that much. And a gashing run slanting right, good for 9 yards to the 20, make it the 34-yard line. Justin Rodney with a very healthy first down carry at 9 yards, 2nd down and 1. And just back to the note about the physicality, as we see Munich now try to answer that physicality from the Paris defense. You know, it was something taught to me by Jay Norvell, a former NFL assistant, a former head coach at the FBS level, now back at his alma mater, Iowa. Jay Norvell told me years ago that the more physical team often wins. And in this game, you can see it's kind of a battle to see who can impose their physical will more. Tabor, after that high snap, throws it down the middle but incomplete, trying to get it to Geyer. They can't connect with Geyer today. That's been a huge victory for the Musketeer defense.
Yeah, like we said, Louis Geyer, one of the absolute best of the European receivers. And no, they have not found a rhythm. They really haven't had much rhythm between the two, even in the games they've been winning. Geyer, had the reverse late in the game last week, but otherwise kind of a quiet game. Geyer is a superstar in this league. If they don't get on the same page, they're wasting an extremely good football player.
3rd down and a short 2. Another high snap. Handoff, plunging straight into the scrum is Rodney, and he falls across the 35 for a first down for Munich. So you've got Geyer in the Munich offensive attack, and you've got Mitchell in the Paris offensive attack. Two big play guys that are right now being kept off the scoreboard by the opposing defense.
Yeah, that's your hope as a defense. Limit their playmakers, make the other guys beat you. Both teams doing a good job of that right now. Good job on the third and 2 conversion right there. Just powering ahead with that inside zone. These snaps, the snaps throwing everything off. They've got to figure out this quarterback center exchange. Ball got to come down. Again with the high snap.
Rodney outside right, trying to turn the corner, popped after just a 1 or 2 yard gain. Big time hit on the far sideline. Again, the physicality of the Paris defense coming to the fore. As Suleiman Karamoko from safety. He got help from Digan Gomes Kachanga.
First guy holds him up, second guy cleans him up. Defensive coaches everywhere preaching that.
Gain of a yard, 2nd and 9. Coming through near side to the 47-yard line, Stanley. Little end around to the receiver. And that's good for a first down. Stanley has a touchdown catch. That came in the first half. We haven't heard much from him since, but he picks up a first down here.
And this is a dead play if Russell Tabor doesn't get this block on Zaregby there on the edge. Zaregby right where he needs to be to kill this play. Tabor gets it started. Good aggressive block. Good job by Stanley navigating the traffic, turning that potential loss into an explosive gain.
Munich 1st and 10 from their 49. Halfway through the third quarter in Paris. Zelig breaks a tackle into the open field. Zelig to the 20. Zelig inside the 15, out of bounds near the 10. Munich with a big gain down deep in Musketeer territory.
There's the explosiveness of this Munich offense. They keep coming back to this guard and tackle pulling to the tight end side play. Handoff here. Zelig breaks the tackle, adds a good 20, 30 yards after that initial contact to get them down into scoring range. This is how games are won. Players win games. Coaches don't win games. Break a tackle, go get some yards, bail the rest of us out. Good job by Eustace taking the team, putting them on his shoulders right there.
Zelig marked out of the 12-yard line, so not goal to go. 1st and 10 at the 12 of Paris, and now the Musketeers burn their first timeout here in half number 2.
And we talked about it last week. You don't want to be burning these timeouts when you don't absolutely have to. They can, especially in a game like this, a close game. If it comes down to the wire, you always need those timeouts in your back pocket. If they've got to get on the same page, then they got to get on the same page. Personal opinion, and I don't think it applies right here, but sometimes coaches just like to hear themselves talk. I don't know if that's worth a timeout.
I think he was maybe giving his defense a chance to recover. I mean, there's a lot of, you don't want your guys gassed. I mean, is that a silly thing to call a timeout in the second half for?
No,
maybe.
No. Critical situation.
Yeah.
And I'm not trying to force a scenario onto anybody here. Just saying that sometimes you get that scenario. Coaches maybe not respecting the value of the timeouts. Coach Del Rio, given his time in the NFL, obviously understands that these things, as you mentioned last week, are solid gold late in games.
That's why I was so concerned about the earlier statement from the referee Stanley Hamilton about the number of timeouts remaining. I mean, second half timeouts, more precious than gold, as you say. Okay, 1st and 10 of the 12 of Paris. Fumble on the end around, out of the arms of Rutsch. Who's got it at the 16? And now a little extracurricular after Munich recovers that fumble in the backfield. Holy cow, Andrew.
Maybe a little bit too fancy here at the 12-yard line. But if you got plays you like, you got plays you like. That exchange between the quarterback and the receiver, obviously not something you get as much practice on as a quarterback-running back exchange. Kalani trying to plead his case that it's a 15-yard penalty. Maybe a little bit of an acting job there as well, not able to draw the flag. That said, Malik Stanley got to put his helmet back on. That's a 15-yarder.
So after the miscue, loss of 6. Loss of 4. Second down and 14 from the 16. 4-man front for Paris. Can their defense bail them out again? Tough running in the heart of the violence for Rodney. He gets 1.
Mamadou Sy again showing up in the hole saying, "See me, I see you here in the hole." I knew I wanted Mamadou references, and I'm not bringing it right now. Good job by Mamadou. Mama, don't run that in here. I know I used that one already, but that's a big-bodied dude making a play in the interior.
You can see Tabor almost jumping in anticipation of high snaps on that end-around fumble. 3rd down and 13. Again, he leaps to grab that snap. Now he's pressured. Tabor throws. Munich thinks they've got a touchdown. What's the signal? Stanley says he's got it for a touchdown. A discussion in the end zone by the officials. No signal yet. Geyer says touchdown. Touchdown, Munich. Malik Stanley, his 2nd touchdown reception of the ball game. Looked like a fingertip grab there, Andrew.
Certainly hard to tell. You know, one thing for everybody watching at home here, those camera angles, like these stadiums are not necessarily football stadiums, right? The American football is the 51st most popular sport in Europe currently. So you end up with some scenarios here where the camera angle is just not there because the stadium's not built like we're used to have cameras with great angles.
Munich, 5-yard penalty, still trying.
Now, the one thing I am a little surprised, they were lining that up really quick right there. You would think that would go to an automatic review since it was ruled a touchdown. Obviously, whoever's in the booth thinks it's a score. Got to go with what they say.
Point after now for Schweiger and Munich, trying to give them a 10-point lead at Paris. He's got it. So the Musketeers defense keeping Munich's big play offense mostly bottled up, but Russell Tabor improvising, running out of room, throwing back late over the middle. Malik Stanley extending the fingertips along the end line for a brilliant touchdown. Sometimes players just got to make plays.
There we go. There's a good angle. Well done by Tabor. As he's running out of space, like you say, keeping those eyes down the field, finding the big-bodied Stanley running the baseline. Brilliant, probably the right word for that one. That's a brilliant job on the move. Paris keeps shooting themselves in the foot. Their defense trying to stop the bleeding. Can they get something going?
Here's Mitchell. With a crease at the 30, gets to the sideline out of bounds near the 40. Mitchell's had some good returns. Paris has had decent starting field position. Let's see if they can take advantage now, down 10 here late in the 3rd quarter. Just going back to that Tabor to Stanley touchdown, that's not a play. That you can't coach that, right? At a certain point, guys just have to improvise and make a play.
returning
Yeah.
team, number 13.
As a coach, you try to
10-yard
pretend like you're
penalty
coaching scramble drill. Like
from the
some
spot
guys
on
got a
the
feel
ball.
for it,
First
some
down.
guys do not. Those two clearly have a feel for it and making it work in a high-pressure situation.
Meanwhile, Paris with a poorly timed penalty on the return. This will reduce the starting field position. Mitchell had it out near the 40. Let's see where they mark it back to. And you talked about it earlier. They got to get the ball to number 6. They've got to get some big plays out of Mitchell.
Yeah, it's hard to say what is, and I know I keep going, what is the identity of this team? They've had success, guys crossing the field. You know, we saw the incompletion to Tekadem, Tony Anderson knocking it out, but they had a chance. They need to get back into that world. That's where Zach Edwards is at his best, working the middle of the field.
Mitchell and Bertolon slotted right. Edwards steps out of trouble, accelerating right. The quarterback on the move for Paris, out of bounds. He's got about 7. As he runs for daylight on the right side, second down.
I don't know if that's the first time we've seen, maybe the first time we've seen Edwards with the positive gain on the scramble drill. There's also a chance I just got bad memory. But if he's going to escape the pocket, he has got to generate positive yards for this offense.
Second and 3.5. Bafunda cutting back nicely. Corkscrews for a first down out to the 29-yard line. Jason Bafunda with a good run, reading the flow of the play and cutting it back.
Yeah, he ends up on his own. The first puller gets cut down. Munich has been cutting these pullers. You can see here at the bottom of your screen, cutting that first pulling lineman, puts Bafunda all by himself, gets those guys to over pursue and cuts back. Nicely done.
First and 10, Paris from their 29. 3-man rush for Munich. Punishing run right up the gut. And a little bit of discussion afterwards. Bafunda going right at that Munich defensive front. We've talked about the Paris physicality, but big lick there laid on a big man, Bafunda, who didn't get far. Bang. That's Reich, leading tackler for Munich.
And they jump into that 3 down front. There's a good chance that you haven't practiced that limited practice time in the EFA. All of a sudden, you don't have your targeting right in the run game.
3-yard carry. Edwards fires. That's complete for a first down before a big hit and the ball comes out. Dosso lost it. Reich picks it up. And he's out of bounds on the far sideline. Munich's taking it away again. Big time blow dislodged the ball from the grasp of Hassan Dosso, who appeared to have a first down. Tony Anderson, who else?
Helmet right on, shoulder pad right on that football. Tony well rested after taking last weekend off. Another big hit by Moko, getting him out of bounds there at the end of that play. But turnovers obviously killing the Musketeers today. You can't turn over the ball and expect to win a football game.
Paris has now lost 3 turnovers in this game. Munich had the blocked punt recovered for a touchdown in the end zone, but their offense has not turned it over. Now a chance to seize firm control of this one late in the third at Paris for the visiting Ravens. Tabor fakes. Tabor throws into the end zone. Touchdown! Stanley's got 3 touchdown catches today.
Looked like he had the bench route on that side. Yeah, stems down, rolls that back out. This is a timing throw. Tabor working the opposite side of the field, then gets back to Stanley. One of the knocks on Liggins. Liggins, a premier press man corner. We saw him the first week of the season in Breben Easton, the star receiver for the Frankfurt Galaxy's face, eliminating him from the game. But when Liggins has to play off coverage, you don't get some of the same production. There he's in off coverage, loses sight of Stanley down the field.
3 touchdown receptions for Malik Stanley in this one. See about the marker.
Too many men on the field. Paris. The penalty will be half distance to the goal. We will be playing from 1 yard line for 2 points.
Munich loves the quarterback sneak in this situation. We'll see how they feel about their matchup up front. We saw them tempo a sneak earlier in the game on a 4th down. Will they come back to it here, or do they have something else cooked up?
And when you say tempo, you're saying they went with a quick count, just get to the line and snap it on a 4th down?
Yeah, exactly. Hustling back to that line of scrimmage. Don't let the defense get set up. Give yourself an advantage for that quick snap and burrowing forward.
They go for 2. Tabor is in. Conversion succeeds. And a little extra check from the defense after Tabor and the Ravens go up 25-7. With 2:11 remaining in this 3rd quarter. And the way the Munich defense has throttled the Paris offense, 25 feels like 55. There is time left. But Paris will have to conjure some offense, something they've been unable to do all day.
Yeah, unless something drastically changes for Paris, this game's essentially over. They have got to find a rhythm. No rhythm whatsoever, and any rhythm they had, they killed with penalties. Have got to dig themselves out of this hole.
At the start of the half, we were questioning whether Paris might be winning the battle of physicality in this game, but Tony Anderson and the Munich defense, with a very serious rebuttal to my assertion, causing the fumble, and Munich taking advantage of the turnover, the takeaway. And now the Ravens in firm control of this one on the road, looking to go to 3-0. A pivotal 3rd quarter. Mitchell lost the ball, got smacked. Paris got it back near the 23-yard line. Great coverage on the recovery by Blanchard and Buku, who we've seen also downfield in punt coverage. And Buku at the right place everywhere on special teams today for Paris, and another disaster avoided there. Here's the touchdown from Tabor to Malik Stanley with a hat trick. 3 touchdown grabs in this one. He was pretty open.
Yeah. In terms of well-executed offensive football, like the timing is not there. You don't check it down to a deep bench route right there, but Liggins loses sight of Stanley. Tabor finds him. Easy score.
Pressure on the offense now, and Edwards goes long for Paris, and he's complete on the near sideline for a big gain. And finally, Mitchell's got a grab, and Paris has a big advancement on offense out near midfield.
Maybe shades of their game against Frankfurt. Offense sleepwalked, I don't know what it is, through 3 quarters, and then came alive, trying to force the ball down the field late in that game. Can they do it again? Obviously, got to do something. Got to change up how they're approaching this game.
Austin Mitchell got both feet down very nimbly inside the sideline from the 48 of Munich. 1st and 10, the play is blown dead. Tekadem was the intended target.
Before the snap, full start, offense. Number 8, 5-yard penalty, still 1st down.
That's a 2nd false start for Doso. As a receiver, you should have 0, 2, not a good look.
So after the penalty, line of scrimmage back on the Paris side of midfield. 1st and 15 from the 47. Edwards rolls out to left. Pressured, throws, leaping effort, far sideline, incomplete near the 30.
Maybe a flood concept there going to the left. You know, again, a right-handed quarterback going left. DB there, Buckram, the safety, doing a good job of forcing that ball high. He feels Tekkenham coming in behind him, starts losing ground, forces Edwards to put that ball high, ends up out of bounds.
2nd down 15. 4-man front for the Munich defense. Reich, Anderson showing blitz. Anderson backed off. Pass downfield, incomplete. Anderson was up at the line and then backed off at the last second there. Meanwhile, incompletion after the targeted receiver, Dosso.
Yeah, you see the versatility of Tony Anderson right there, going into a linebacker position, playing a zone spot there as an underneath player, typically lined up at that safety. Anderson spent his offseason playing for a college in England. They ended up losing in the championship game there, but here back in the EFA now.
3rd and 15.
Bullets.
Paris desperate for a foothold on offense.
Okay. Offense number 1. 5-yard penalty, still 3rd down.
So a couple of penalties against Paris after they got this completion to the 48 of Munich.
Their mechanics for going fast, obviously getting stressed right here with the receiver false start, the delay of game. You know, is the play coming in fast enough? Is Edwards just not getting them in and out of the huddle fast enough? Hard to say, but has to be cleaned up. Can't put yourself in these 3rd and long situations.
Mitchell motions from the near slot to the far slot. 4 wide receivers to the left side. Quads left. Edwards pressured. Zach's in trouble. Retreats inside the 30. Nowhere to go. Has some room out to the far side. Got to do something. Jump ball. Intercepted. Christoph Nietzelnader intercepts for Munich, their 4th takeaway of the ball game.
The ruling on the field is an interception. 1st down, Munich.
Edwards kept this play alive improbably, but it may be another Paris turnover.
I was loading up to say that's why they call him Magic Zach right there. Risky throw down the field. Now they are in a situation where they would be punting. Obviously, the field position you would hope would be better with the punt. A throwaway sometimes as good as a punt, but right here, you know, the field position, I don't know that it's worth the risk on that throw.
2 interceptions, 2 fumble takeaways for the Munich defense, plus 4 in turnovers in this ball game. Completion to Geyer as he's up the near sideline and out of bounds into Paris territory. Geyer picks up his reception here. They've been targeting him all day. And a good gain for Russell Tabor and the Raven offense.
So Paris knows Munich's going to come out, try to reestablish the run on him, get this game over with, take the time off the clock. They get in the 5 down front. Well, that forces them into a single high coverage. Tabor sees that, signals out to Geyer here to run the hitch. Just pitch and catch between Tabor and Geyer. Geyer, as good as anybody on the perimeter, turns that into a big gain.
That's the final play of quarter number 3. Munich with a huge 3rd quarter, seizing control of this one at Paris. The 4th quarter when we return to Stade Bauer in the City of Light.
It's the end of the 3rd quarter.
Accelerating, finds a hole at the 40, open field, is going all the way for the second week in a row, back for a touchdown. Going backwards, the ball comes out, it's picked up. Paris takes it in, let's see. Oh my goodness. Good fake from Garbers, he throws right, it's complete, it's a touchdown. Rodney, touchdown. He would have led the class with the EFA. Here's a pass on the right sideline, that's caught. Touchdown, Frankfurt. Steps up, goes down the middle, diving, catch in the end zone. Start of the fourth quarter. Munich exploiting a turnover advantage, and now with a big lead. Tabor throws back, complete at the 30. Zelig down the sideline, cuts back at the 10. Eustace Zelig down to the 5 of Paris.
It's a play that was real popular in the NFL this last season. They pull that, they got the little boot right there. Back coming on that wheel route out of the backfield, tight end trailing it on the shallow cross. They lose sight of the back after the play action fake. Zelig again showing those hands off, getting them down in the low red zone.
So now Munich, their offense, their passing game coming to light in a way that had not been the case in the first three quarters. First and goal inside the 5, I formation for the Ravens. Tight end left. Fake the handoff. Tabor slips, recovers, throws right side at the goal line. Touchdown, Munich. Fabian Rolfes with a touchdown reception.
It's another play you see every week in the NFL. Rolfes right there, blocking down here, selling run to the left. He's the tight end at the point of attack right there. Sneaks through the line of scrimmage, comes flat down the line. That guy open all the time. Quarterback starts with the fullback in the flat and works his progression back across the field. Avoids that rush, finds his open man.
Rolfes holding on after a big blow from Amir Kilani after hanging on inside the goal line. And now the Munich wagon is rolling. The Ravens, bad snap here on the PAT, and Schweiger does not get that one inside the right upright. But yeah, the Munich wagon is rolling, Andrew.
Sometimes it's extremely difficult to consistently execute on the offensive side of the football, and then when you play against a big physical team like this Paris unit, sometimes hard to find your footing. They've found it now, and they're punctuating that this game, they've taken full control of this game. Start up the bus. Make sure you got cold beer. I know we got 14 minutes left, but it doesn't feel like this is going to get close.
Well, cliches are cliches for a reason, and the reason coaches will go back to the cliche of you got to play 60 minutes. Well, this is why. You know, for 32 minutes, this was a very competitive ball game. But Munich now, it's just the overwhelming pressure has finally broke the dam here in Paris.
Yep, that's a great way to put it. Overwhelming pressure. Paris not rising to the moment. The turnovers, the penalties, just... You look at it from the outside, those are easy things to say, undisciplined style of football. Obviously, there's a million factors that go into play. They've got to figure these things out, though, if they want to have any chance to truly contend in this league.
Mitchell, the return man for the Musketeers. Mitchell cuts back, room to the 40, across the 50, staggering into Munich territory. Another big return for Mitchell.
Mitchell doing his best to put the team on his shoulders right here.
Check.
They've got to build off this play. They have to do something with it.
Returning team number 80. 10-yard
Did we get another
from the
penalty?
spot of the ball. First down, Paris.
So a return of more than 50 yards is negated by a block in the back penalty. And Paris has struggled with penalties in this game. They came in far less penalized than Munich on the year, both in terms of fouls and yardage penalized. But it has been Paris with the penalty problem in this one.
And these special teams penalties especially hurtful. They are spot penalties. So even though, like you said, a 50-yard return, it goes back to the spot of where that penalty occurred, and then you march it back from there. You can lose massive chunks of yards on special teams penalties.
So instead of 1st and 10 at the 45 of Munich, Paris starts from their own 23, down big. Leaping attempt, but incomplete. Looking for Hassan Dosso.
Hard to say. Does that one just sail on Zach there? Does Dosso bring it too far inside? We don't know exactly what the play call is and how they're coaching it. You know, not to be overlooked, Zach Edwards is in his second or third game back after a year off of playing football. That's got to be a very difficult situation to step into.
Munich shows blitz, quarterback draw after the fake. Edwards swims his way out near first down yardage, pulled down across the 31-yard line. 9-yard gain on the quarterback draw for Edwards.
Came back to that guard and tackle pulling play, this time just using the quarterback to run it. You know, I always preach the dangers of the quarterback taking hits, but Zach Edwards is a different breed of runner. These hits, they don't phase him. He needs this to have success. He needs to be running downhill. That will fuel everything that Zach does. Get those competitive juices flowing. He'll be able to find them in the pass game. Zach needs to get hit to be at his best.
3rd and 1. Edwards hands it off, and first down yardage on the ground for Paris. That's interesting you said that about Edwards. You generally don't want your quarterback to get hit, but some guys are football players first, right?
Yes, and I, like I mentioned, Coach Zach with the Barcelona Dragons. The center here, Celestine Ngimbi, also a member of that team. Zach, we would constantly preach, hey, don't take these hits, don't take these hits. And he would say, look, it gets me going. Like, this is how I play football. And sometimes you just got to say, all right, let's go.
Edwards trying to rally the Musketeers at home. He goes up top and he's intercepted on the far sideline. It's Nitzelnader, and he's back down the sideline. He's got another interception. That's his second pick of the day. Christoph Nitzelnader stepping in front of this one. Underthrown.
Yeah, they had the stick concept, a quick game concept. You have a go route on the outside. Zach gets a little greedy trying to get the big play. If he wants to take that, he cannot leave that short. Good job by the cornerback, stopping his momentum. High point in that football. Tough rep for Zach Edwards.
And a tough day for the Paris offense as Munich's defense has now taken it away 5 times. 2 fumbles recovered, 3 interceptions of Paris quarterback Zach Edwards. And now an opportunity for Munich on a coup de grace. 1st and 10 from the Paris 21. Tabor rolling out after a fake. Coming to the sideline and thinks better of it, just comes out of bounds. Because he loses yardage there, that will technically be a sack given to Baptiste Pollier, the defensive end wearing number 91 that ran him out.
As somebody who spent some time in the NFL offensive line coaches get all kinds of upset when this happens.
Yep.
They want them stats to look like they were nice and clean, and the quarterback is screwing them by taking the ball out of bounds. I've seen some guys near fist fights in meetings. Coaches arguing about guys throwing that ball away.
Hey, for Polier, that's a big hit in the box score.
Yep.
Loss of 1 on the play. 2nd and 11. Handoff straight ahead inside the 20 to the 16-yard line for Munich. Justus Zelig has done it on the ground, has done it through the air. It's just so hard to anticipate if you're defending the run for an opposition, for an opponent of Munich. You've got to really respect the fake because the quarterback can just run right around you around the end.
Yeah, a lot of mechanics to stop the quarterback run game that you might not be practicing every week, and all of a sudden it shows up. Things you're not used to doing in game. The odds of you getting it right with limited practice time
it's got to be
low.
It's got to be so frustrating because you must feel constantly flat-footed on every running play.
Yeah.
Completion for a first down inside the 10 down to the 5-yard line as Munich has 1st and goal at the 5. Sixton Dragon with another catch.
You see a nice little pick here by Mervyn Rush in the slot, getting the rub to free up Dragon on the flat route. They saw it was man coverage, signaled the route out there, taking advantage of what the defense is giving them.
Well, now with Munich pulling away in the second half, you start to think about the context of their season thus far. Opening week, a 58-30 trouncing of Raiders T-Roll. The bye in week 2. 1st and goal, Rodney going left, going in. Touchdown, Munich. Justin Rodney in the end zone for the first time today. That's his 5th rushing touchdown of the season.
Yeah, just downhill duo to the left side. Good push. Rodney pushes it downhill and bounces it outside. Nobody there to put a hand on him.
So, yeah, as you contextualize this rapidly ballooning score in favor of the Ravens here in Week 4, the 3rd game of the year for Munich, 58-30 they win in the opening week. At Tirol, they win, that one was at home, and then they win on the road in Week 3 at Frankfurt, 45-26. Did not look for long stretches like they would match their anticipated points output in this one, but now they're knocking on the door of 40 as they have the big lead here in Paris with a lot of the fourth quarter still remaining. And that was the question at the outset, right? Can you slow down Munich, and if so, how? Well, I guess the answer to that is no one so far.
I don't have the numbers in front of me, but I have to imagine their average starting field position has changed drastically here in the second half. Not to take anything away, they've done an excellent job of executing here in the second half, but much, much closer to that goal line and turning it into points.
This is taken by one of the upmen for Paris. This is not Mitchell coming out to the near sideline. This is Lokman Najem. Najem, of course, was the man who recovered the blocked punt in the end zone for the lone Paris touchdown. Tell me about how the morale of your offense is coached or managed in this circumstance. I mean, for Paris, it's been a frustrating day of offensive football. They haven't scored. How's that huddle right now? What's the kind of leadership you need from Zach Edwards, who has certainly not turned in his finest performance?
Yeah, it's such a fine line because you want to demand performance, but at the same time, if you're not executing in a Zach Edwards type role right here, hard to ask somebody else to rise to the occasion. Again, pressure up the middle. Sometimes you just want to get that clock run out and get this thing over with.
Etoile Louis with his 3rd sack of the season. Loss on the play as Louis just came through. Lost back to the 26-yard line.
You know, Paris over the years tried to find They've had a mixture of offensive linemen. Obviously, Moko doing a good job for him here in his first week of action. But they've had Polly Sacramento, a trio of Brits, Toby Letman, Keanu Ebanks, Lewis Thomas, all guys that have come and gone in the organization, but trying to find that consistency up front, something they need to do.
Screen pass batted down up front by Munich. Their defense swarming everything now. Josef Apia Darkwa with that deflection at the line. Trying to set that up to Bafunda.
Darkwa, good job recognizing that it screens, stops his rush, redirects in the direction that the linemen are heading, gets a hand on that football.
That's got to be a
Looks
hard
like a
concept.
Wemby block.
Yeah, exactly. It's got to be a hard concept for a defensive lineman to stop when they realize they have a free path to the quarterback. Edwards going to get crunched, but he gets rid of it, and that is complete to the 40-yard line. Paris gets the completion to Hugo Tekeda.
Good, they're going for it. There's no reason not to at this point.
You can see with the Musketeers, the receiving corps is pretty good. The ingredients are there.
Yeah, the country of France has a lot of good football players. They have one disadvantage right now. We've got multiple leagues. There is another team based in Paris. Some of the better French players there, the vast majority here with the Musketeers.
On 4th and 7, a slant is incomplete, a little behind Remy Berthelon. And he could not haul it in. Just a little bit behind him on that throw.
Berthelon and Zach Edwards been together for a long time. They played together 2021 with the Barcelona Dragons, and then every year that Edwards has been here in Paris, they've been together. Unfortunate they're not able to connect and keep some semblance of a drive going here. They had a good answer against that man coverage, just couldn't execute.
Well, I know that's probably not Edwards' best pass, but Berthelon's got to hang on to that.
Yep. Anytime it hits you in your body, hits you in your hands, you got no choice but to come down with it.
Frustrating day for the Paris offense. Turnover on down. Munich has it 1st and 10 at the Musketeer 40. And the backup quarterback is on for Munich, and that is Levin Adram, and he hands it off to Poehler. Benedict Poehler, the carry. So the second string is on in the backfield for Munich.
Really good that these guys are able to get in the game, get the live reps. Talked about it before. These guys are the backbone of your team. The reason you can practice and get good looks in practice is all of these guys whose names don't get called on game day. When you have the opportunity to get them in, you absolutely have to and let them run plays. This is a good look for the Munich Ravens right here.
Levin Adram, the quarterback, takes the snap, hands it off, plunging left towards first down yardage. Again, that's Poehler. Poehler, the running back, a German. Levin Adram, the quarterback, also the punter. He's a German. It's exciting to see not an American at quarterback for these teams.
Yeah, Adram, extremely talented. A lot of people say a lot of good things about him. Obviously, limited action in games, but there is a buzz around the young man.
First and 10 at the Paris 30. Musketeer defense wasn't quite set. Poehler carrying left. He's pushing the pile. He's got at least 8 there on first down. So Benedict Poehler now shouldering the burden for the Munich offense, aided by 5 takeaways by the Munich defense. And now trying to lap Paris. Poehler came into this one with 23 yards on the season, 9 carries. He's getting some good minutes here. Second down, call it 3. And now whistles at the 5:26 mark.
Delay of game, offense number 17. 5-yard penalty, still second down. The clock will be on the snap.
And that'll happen when you get your second string in, right? Sometimes the lines of communication aren't quite as efficient.
You've only got so many reps during the week to get practiced. Having that backup quarterback on the same page as the starter is extremely difficult. These sorts of things, like you say, they are going to happen in these scenarios. And it's good that they do. Learning experiences for all these guys on the field. They will be better players. When you make mistakes and you learn from them, it's better than never making it.
Second and 8. Paris looks like they want to come after Adram. Option pitch right. Poehler diving down near the first down marker. He says he's got it.
Michael Stadler, good block there in the slot on the perimeter. Hands inside, maintaining contact. Holding a little bit, but you can get away with holding when you got those hands inside.
It was good option concept, well blocked on the outside by the receivers. Give them the first down.
Earlier.
By replay essays,
Receivers that get dirty, if they're willing to get dirty, the flexibility they bring to your team, unmatched.
Well,
Correction.
I think we're seeing an adjusted spot. He did not pick up the first down.
Feels like those sticks are heading in the wrong direction.
Yeah, they got to get the chain gang sorted out here. That's all right. That's all right.
There we go. There we go. Everybody's got the backups in. We'll get this thing solved. Here we go. All right. The tough part is Munich's got the backups in. Their left guard used to start at Nebraska. Played for the Saints briefly in camp in the CFL. Tough draw if you're the Paris defensive tackle coming in, fired up to get some reps here late in the game, and you get big Nuri standing across from you.
So 3rd and a yard. Swinging out. That's complete. And a first down for Munich inside the 20 down to the 16. And it's Rush.
We saw Rush get the pick for Sixth Dragon. A drive or two previously there. Sixth Dragon getting the block for Rush. Those two probably give each other big hugs after the game. Well, thanks, bro.
Just back to your point about Nuri Noili, the guard, wearing 63 there. That is a tough draw for the Paris defensive line. It's a big fella.
Coach says get out there. You got that look in your eyes like, all right, my time to shine. You got the University of Nebraska staring you.
Yeah.
We had Nuri at the Hula Bowl a number of years ago when he was coming out of college. He was a member of that college all-star game that I was coaching out there. Had a chance to sit down and talk with Nuri. Exceptional young man. Got a chance to meet his mother as well. She was out there to take the game in all the way from Germany. Outstanding family.
That's big 63, the left guard wearing white for Munich. Under 3 minutes now. The Ravens en route to yet another blowout win. They'll get to 3-0. Right side hard running and a first down for Poehler as he goes flying into defenders. Poehler not shying away from contact. And Munich just a punishing drive here at the end of regulation. Munich will host Prague next week on Sunday. Paris will play at home against Raiders Tirol on Saturday night. The other game next week, Frankfurt is at the Nordic Storm in Copenhagen. That's the early game on Saturday. Paris is the late game on Saturday, and then Munich is the game on Sunday. First and goal for Munich. Sorry, go ahead.
I think most people would agree at this point in the season we've seen Munich and the Nordic Storm establish themselves as the front runners. Somebody's going to have to show up and prove otherwise. Those two operating at a level that's above and beyond everybody else at this point in the season.
Nordic, they will face Paris in week 6 at home, and then week 7, the Storm come to Munich. So just thinking a little bit about how this is going to unfold through the month of June. The two unbeatens right now, the Nordic Storm and the Munich Ravens, scheduled to meet on June 28th at 1 o'clock Central European Summer Time. We'll both be undefeated. A lot of games between now and then. But Munich will be 3-0 at the end of this one. First and goal from the 5. Handoff. And to the 4. Gain of a yard. Up off the turf with some more hard yardage. Benedict Poehler. Now, how much do these backup guys want to get in the end zone, Andrew?
Oh, here's a good story. We're playing the Frankfurt Galaxy when I was with the Rhine Fire, traditional rivals. We got down on this goal line. The game was very much over. I had the guys take a knee. It was almost a fist fight. They wanted my blood. They wanted to get a touchdown, and it was unnecessary at that point. We were in the kneel down mode. I don't blame them. We've all moved past it. But they want in. They want to get those points, and I should have let them. I'll never tell them that, but I should.
It speaks to your sporting character, Andrew. That
good point. That's a great point. Sometimes you just got to be the better human. If we could, I'll get their emails. If you could send that over to them,
yeah,
just so they understand.
I'll be a character witness for you. Well, who's going to slow down Munich? Paris did it for about 30 minutes today, but not for 60. And this is really becoming one of the major questions of the year in the EFA. Now, tomorrow, the Storm are on the road at Prague. Certainly, you would think Nordic Storm are favored, even though Prague is at home. It's been a tough slog for the Lions so far. We don't want to count our chickens, but it's a plausible scenario that both the Storm and these Ravens get to week 5, both 3-0.
Yeah, as it stands right now, very likely. Prague, interesting scenario there. Made a change at the offensive coordinator spot. Former head coach Dave Warner has returned to be their offensive coordinator. Obviously, they're hoping that will give them a little shot in the arm. Coach Warner did an outstanding job with that team last year. If they can find some of that same success, I think we're going to see a little bit of a different Prague team. Good pieces on that offense. They just got to find a way to put it all together.
Second and goal from the 4. How about man of the match? You got to give it to Malik Stanley, right? 3 touchdown catches for Munich. Hat trick.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right there. Not often you get 3 scores in a game.
Loss of a yard on that handoff to Poehler. Third down and goal from the 5 upcoming for Munich, who have this one well sewn up. Adram handing it off. And the Ravens just trying to run out the clock. Yeah, 3 touchdown receptions in one game. You can go whole seasons and a team not have that. Stanley certainly a weapon. Tabor and Stanley's second connection of the 3 was probably one of the highlights of the season so far in the EFA, with that fingertip catch along the end line after Tabor rolled out and extended the play, improvising. Third and goal And straight ahead. Polar just plunging into the line. I think we've got an injured Paris defender. Looked like Elton Mendez Correa, the defensive tackle, is down.
The last thing you ever want to see is an injury, particularly in a situation like this.
69.
Let's hope the young man's just shaken up briefly here.
Charged by the first team timeout in the second half.
That's so frustrating and hard to watch.
Correction, second team timeout in the second half.
Everybody just gets all tangled up in those scrums, and again, it comes from behind the play. We saw that last week. It's a 10-game, 13-week season. So even if you get an ankle twist like this, or a sprain, or a pull, a twist, you can come back from it. But the season is such that, and you know this, Andrew, you're never really going to get back to 100% until the end of the year.
Yeah, the only time a football player is at 100% is probably right before that first practice of the season,
right,
in training camp. And after that one, it's all downhill. The extremely physical sport, hard to really appreciate just how difficult it is to make it through a season without getting banged up.
Low snap, but Schweiger gets a good hold. And that kick is good to make it 41-7. Yannick Novak, the receiver on the hold there, did a great job with a low snap. So Schweiger's converted twice. Oh. Sorry, go ahead, Andrew.
I'm sorry, I keep talking over you. I apologize. But one of these days we're going to see a kick go into one of those windows up there. I'm just hoping that I'm here for it.
Me too.
I'm interrupting you to just say stupid stuff, too. I apologize.
No, it's that time of the ball game. What a great seat if you're a football fan. One of those apartment
windows? Unfortunately, I don't know that there's a ton of them in
That's what you think. That's what you think. I think watching these games might just convert a few people.
Right. And there's more and more games. A strategic partnership forged between the Paris Musketeers and the New Orleans Saints. Hopefully that helps drive the popularity of football here in Europe. A lot of teams in Europe have been forging these partnerships with NFL teams, and the hope is that does drive the popularity of the sport.
Here is Mitchell across the 30, and he's slowed down at the 35, still scrumming along, moving laterally, and that's it. So on the final minute here, Paris looking at the reality of their first defeat of this season. Next week, Paris will host Raiders Tirol. Tirol lost to the Storm in week 2, had a bye last week. So Paris will stay home. Change of quarterback. This is Ugo Tekadam, the receiver, who is the backup quarterback. And a handoff on first down. Johannes Gonçalves. Good run on the play.
See those explosive quickness we saw on that. He was the guy who got the punt block, was he not?
He was, yeah.
Yeah, nice little quickness right there, downhill run. Gonçalves getting a chance to make his mark on the offensive side here, hoping to draw the eye of the coach.
Paris has some athletes. They have the physicality. They just need a little continuity on offense.
Yep, that's a great point. Can't shoot themselves in the foot.
A little trouble with the exchange there, and Gonçalves loses on that, and that is the ball game. Big second half for Munich in Paris. The Ravens are 3-0. The Musketeers suffer their first defeat of this 2026 campaign. The Munich defense rising to the fore with 5 takeaways. And how fitting that regulation concludes on a tackle for a loss. The Ravens defense got locked in a defensive struggle with the Paris defense that had been so good through the first 2 weeks. But ultimately, Munich had too much in this second half. Your final thoughts, Andrew Weidinger.
Yeah, Paris has gotta find a way to execute on the offensive side of the ball. Like you said, their only touchdown coming from special teams, driving a couple times, unable to finish those drives. Certainly an issue that has to be solved moving forward, or else they're not going to have success against the top half of the league.
Malik Stanley, 3 touchdown catches today to lead the way for the Munich attack. 5 takeaways for Munich defensively, 5 turnovers for the Paris offense, spelling doom for the home team. 41-7, Munich wins at Paris. They are 3-0. The Musketeers are 2-1. Musketeers stay home. They host Tyrol next Saturday. Munich returns home to host Prague also next weekend. That's on Sunday. That'll do it for us at Stade Bauer here in Paris. For Andrew Weidinger, I'm John Ramey. Munich stays unbeaten, stays dominant as they fell the Paris Musketeers. So long, bonsoir, bonne nuit from Paris.
time.